Got a lot on my mind.
I'm just wondering.
What's up?
I said I'm just wondering.
I just know I've been watching. I'm gonna write these words down for you.
I'm just
Tell me
wondering.
if you feel the same. Tell me how you feel. You know how I feel.
I'm just wondering if there could be a little bit more between you and me.
When I close my eyes, you are all I seem to see. What is on my mind is when should I let my feelings out? Should I take it slow or should I go another round? Feeling like I could just lose you if I wait too long. Kinda like you could be gone before I wrote this song. Trying to express myself the best so you can understand that I know you're taking but making a statement to be your man. Put my heart on the line, it ain't even Valentine's. I ain't lying, I think you fine, but I ain't trying to wine and dine. Just wanna spend some time, see what's really on your mind. Really hate to see you leave, but I love to watch you from behind. Is it love or is it lust? All I'm thinking of is us. The way you smile, your eyes and thighs, I fantasize about your touch. Every night I go to sleep, thinking of you and makes me weak. Revealing all my feelings, cause I'm feeling that it's getting
I'm just wondering.
you know how I feel.
I said I'm just wondering.
You know how I feel. Yeah,
I'm just wondering.
you know how I feel.
For real. I said I'm just wondering.
You already know how I
You
feel.
already know.
Physically and mentally, feels like you were meant for me. Every time I see you, feels like you are tempting me. Trying to fight temptation, think I'm about to lose this round. My kind of girl, give you a hug or give you a pound. What I want is to be closer than we've ever been. And I'm wondering if we can be a little more than friends. Trying to do a little more than kissing, a lot more than hold your hand. And I know you're taking but making a statement to be your man. I'm not trying to waste your time, I don't rush, I take my time. So inclined to make you mine, every line is by design. Hoping that you don't decline, if you do then please rewind. Listen to these thoughts of mine, have mercy on this heart of mine. We can hang, we can chill, but I got plans to seal the deal. Love is skin and how it feels, can't pretend it feels so real. In ecstasy right next to me, but I ain't even popped a pill. Treat it like it's hunting season, ready to go in for the kill.
I'm just wondering.
You know how I feel.
I said I'm just wondering.
You know how I feel.
Yeah, I'm just wondering.
You know how I feel.
For real. I said I'm just wondering.
You already know how I
You
feel.
already know.
You already know how I feel. Told you. I just wonder how you feel. But every time I see you, I wonder to myself, damn. I wonder what it'd be like if it was me and her. I'm just wondering. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we friends, but we can be something more than friends. You know what I'm saying? I done laid it on the line, let you know how I feel. You let me know how you feel. Sass. I'm just wondering. Don't be afraid, 'cause I ain't scared. For real.
I'm just wondering.
You know how I feel.
I said I'm just wondering.
You know how I feel.
Yeah, I'm just wondering.
You know how I feel.
For real. I said I'm just wondering.
You already know how I
You
feel.
already know.
Do you really believe that garbage?
It's not about a believing, it's a matter of fact.
So you believe
People over here who run this nation support injustices over there. You probably don't even know what happened in the 1940s.
In any country, prison is where society sends its failures. But in this country, society itself is failing.
I'd like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you.
We won the evangelicals. We won with young. We won with old. We won with highly educated. We won with poorly educated. I love the poorly educated.
Look at you crazy.
Grab him by the pussy.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Let's go to war. Let's go to war.
We are not at war with Muslims.
Let's go to war.
We don't have a beef with Muslims.
Let's go to war.
We want to be friends with Muslims.
Let's go to war.
And Muslim children.
Let's go to war.
We fighting evil people. It's important for the boys and girls of Thurgood Marshall to know
Let's go to war.
that we're fighting evil.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can figure out what the hell is going on.
Olivia Gondak, it says that I wanted to eat her pussy. Olivia Gondak, I've never said that in my life to her. I would never do that. I'm happily married. I've got more than enough to eat at home. Thank you very much.
You have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
Okay. I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody, and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay? It's like incredible. I went to an Ivy League school. I'm very highly educated. I know words. I had the best words. We now have a gun on every table. We're ready to start shooting.
By the way, maybe you could inject some bleach in your arm, and that would take care of it. This is the same man.
Said sarcastically.
That was...
Even though they're trying to impeach the son of a bitch. Can you believe that? You believe that? That's enough. Put down the mic.
Mr. President, are you worried about indictments coming down in this investigation?
Punch him in the face, I'll tell you.
It's a human under attack.
I don't want reality. I'm asking the question, which one is better? That's exactly what it is.
Got it on tape. What a stupid son of a bitch.
Step into the tense arena of politics with TFP, where raw honesty meets critical analysis. The world's most dangerous political panel, featuring the voices of the radical Republican, MD-20, the political prophet amongst men, Ricardo, the uppity independent king of popcorn, who's waiting and watching in the political theater, Mike, the Fatalists, who is always Mike is right from the Others Gang, and Venkat, the Progressive Producer Extraordinaire, dives deep into controversial topics that shape our global stage.
With sharp insights and unfiltered discussions,
they explore the complex narratives of past and present political dilemmas that affect us all.
They're eating the dogs.
Each episode acts as a magnifying glass, scrutinizing the layers of misinformation and propaganda that permeate our world. The panel's dynamic interplay ignites debates that challenge viewers to confront uncomfortable truths about governance, power, and societal responsibility.
Engage with thought-provoking content that not only informs, but inspires action.
TFP is not just a series. It is a call to awareness, urging audiences to participate in the political discourse and foster change in their communities.
Now get ready to witness the strength of tape-fist politics.
How stupid are these politicians to allow this to happen?
Everything you saw on the news is sucker shit. It's sucker shit. Nation, make sure that people like us are always struggling and in fucked up situations. We're gonna beat these people. I'm not trying to be dramatic here, but it's been a hard fight. And these people hate our children.
Well, today we learned an appeals court rejected President-elect Donald Trump's bid to overturn a jury's verdict that found him liable for sexual abuse and defamation. The case stems from the lawsuit brought by writer E. Jean Carroll and upholds the $5 million award granted to her. In May of 2023, a federal jury found him civilly liable for sexually abusing Carroll in the 90s in his department store dressing room and then defaming her.
Another pervert.
Obviously, we have a rapist in Lincoln Park. He's climbing in your windows. He's snatching your people up, trying to rape them. So y'all need to hide your kids, hide your wife, and hide your husband because they're raping everybody out here.
First of all, from what I understand from doctors, that's really rare. If it's a legitimate rape, the female body has ways to try to shut that whole thing down.
Aiken's suggestion that the bodies of women who are raped by force will generally reject a pregnancy.
This article is a prime example of fake news.
That article has shaken up a critical special election that could impact the Republican Senate majority. The report alleges Moore fondled a 14-year-old girl in 1979 and pursued 3 other teens ages 16 to 18 when he was in his 30s.
Do you believe it's appropriate for a 32-year-old man to kiss a teenager, sir? I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
A few moments later.
Quite simply, I gave in to my shame.
Happy birthday, Mr. President.
It was someone sending a picture of a wiener on Wiener's account.
One stupid mistake that maybe you think is good that moment can really destroy a lot of things.
Where tonight, a small town in Alabama is mourning the loss of their mayor, who died of an apparent suicide just days after a conservative news site published a story that showed alleged photos of him on social media, allegedly wearing women's clothes and makeup. They claim he led a secret life and labeled himself on sites as a transgender curvy girl. NBC News is not going to show those pictures. The news site—
Let me be clear. I am not gay. I never have been gay.
He was known for anti-gay stances and for berating Bill Clinton during the Lewinsky affair.
Bad boy, Bill Clinton, you're a naughty boy.
But when Craig was arrested for alleged lewd conduct with another man in an airport bathroom, similar accusations against him materialized.
I go to bathrooms to use bathrooms.
Newsweek explains a Kentucky Republican has introduced the legislation that would amend the state's law so a person who had sex with their first cousin would no longer be criminally liable for incest. The amendment introduced by Wilson, if passed, would remove first cousin from this list.
I have sinned against you, my Lord.
And I have nothing to hide. There's nothing in my background I'm ashamed of.
In the past few days, I've begun to atone for my private failings with my wife, Soda, my children, and my entire family.
I've exchanged messages and photos of an explicit nature with about 6 women over the last 3 years.
There's no question that I've done wrong, and I take full responsibility.
TFP presents The Politics of Sex.
The second coming.
Ooh, chavo.
I want to return to the incident that you referenced a minute ago that occurred in Monterey, California in October 2017. At that time, you were still married to your second wife, correct?
I believe so.
And you had just fathered a child by a woman who would later become your third wife, correct?
Senator, I was falsely charged, fully investigated, and completely cleared.
So you think you were completely cleared because you committed no crime. That's your definition of cleared? You had just fathered a child 2 months before by a woman that was not your wife. I am shocked that you would stand here and say you're completely cleared. Can you so casually cheat on a second wife and cheat on the mother of a child that had been born 2 months before, and you tell us you are completely cleared?
Senator,
how is that a complete clear?
Senator, her child's name is Gwendolyn Hope Hegseth, and she's a child of God, and she's 7 years old.
And she was, and you cheated on the mother of that child less than 2 months after that daughter was born, didn't you?
Those were false charges.
Well,
it was fully investigated, and I was completely cleared. And I am so grateful for the marriage I have to this amazing woman behind me.
You've admitted that you had sex at that hotel in October 2017. You said it was consensual, isn't that correct?
Anything?
You've admitted that it was consensual, and you were still married, and you just had a child by another woman.
Again,
how do you explain your judgment?
Completely false charges against me.
You
fully investigated, and I was completely clear.
You have admitted that you had sex while you were married to wife 2 after you just had fathered a child by wife 3. You've admitted that. Now, if it had been a sexual assault, that would be disqualifying to be Secretary of Defense, wouldn't it?
It was a false claim then and a false claim now.
If it had been a sexual assault, that would be disqualifying to be Secretary of Defense, wouldn't it?
That was a false claim.
So you
talking about a hypothetical.
So you can't tell me whether someone who has committed a sexual assault is disqualified from being Secretary of Defense?
Senator, I know in my instance, and I'm talking about my instance only, it was a false claim.
But you acknowledge,
investigated.
That you cheated on your wife and that you cheated on the woman by whom you had just fathered a child. You have admitted that.
I will allow your words to speak for themselves.
You're not retracting that today. That's good. I assume that in each of your weddings, you've pledged to be faithful to your wife. You've taken an oath to do that, haven't you?
Senator, as I've acknowledged to everyone in this committee, not a perfect person, not claiming to be.
But no, I just asked a simple question. You've taken an oath like you would take an oath to be Secretary of Defense in all of your weddings to be faithful to your wife. Is that correct?
I have failed in things in my life, and thankfully I'm redeemed by my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
The incident in Monterey led to a criminal charge, a criminal investigation, a private settlement, and a cash payment to the woman who filed the complaint. And there was also a non-disclosure agreement, correct?
It was a confidential settlement agreement off of a nuisance lawsuit.
Right. During an interview, you claimed that you settled the matter because you were worried that if it became public, it might hurt your career. Do you maintain that you were blackmailed?
Senator, I maintain that false claims were made against me. And ultimately,
your attorney
those
used
false
the
claims,
phrase,
I have the opportunity to attest my innocence in those false claims.
But you didn't reveal any of this to President Trump or the transition team as they were considering you to be nominated for Secretary of Defense. You didn't reveal the action. You didn't reveal the criminal complaint. You didn't reveal the criminal investigation. You didn't reveal the settlement. You didn't reveal the cash payment. Why didn't you inform the commander-in-chief and the transition team of this very relevant event?
Senator, I've appreciated every part of the process with the transition team. They have been open and honest with me. We've had great conversations between the two of us. And I appreciate the opportunity that President-elect Trump has given me.
You chose not to reveal this, right? Because you knew it would hurt your chances. So you chose not to reveal this really important thing to the commander-in-chief and the transition team because you were worried about your chances rather than trying to be candid with the future president of the United States. Are there any other important facts that you chose not to reveal to the president-elect and his team as they were considering you to be Secretary of Defense?
Senator, I sit here before you in open book as everyone who's watched this process.
With multiple non-disclosure and confidentiality agreements tying the hands of many people who would like to comment to us. One of your colleagues said that you got drunk at an event at a bar and chanted, "Kill all Muslims." Another colleague, not anonymous, we have this, said that you took co-workers to a strip club. You were drunk, you tried to dance with strippers, you had to be held off the stage, and one of your employees in that event filed a sexual harassment charge as a result of it. Now, I know you denied these things, but isn't that the kind of behavior that, if true, would be disqualifying for somebody to be Secretary of Defense?
Senator, anonymous false charges.
They're not anonymous. And I'll just conclude and say this to the chairman. You claim that this was all anonymous. We have seen records with names attached to all of these, including the name of your own mother. So don't make this into some anonymous press thing.
Tonight on TFP, the stage is set for another exhilarating exploration of politics with this episode. Join Ricardo, Venkat, MD20, and Mike as they delve into the dynamics that shape our world, offering their unique perspectives on current affairs, with debate and discourse at the forefront. Expect a lively exchange filled with insightful analysis and bold predictions. The atmosphere is charged with anticipation, as each voice brings forth a blend of experiences in varying positions, creating a tapestry of ideas that resonate with the audience. Join us for a night where knowledge meets passion, and discover why Mike is right. Tune in for an unforgettable experience with the political prophet amongst men. This is TFP, Taped Fists Politics. Let's go.
All right. Here we go. TFP Tuesday. I am Venkat. And once again, I am joined with the world's most dangerous political panel. And on the panel this evening, we got Ricardo. What's going on, Ricardo? Oh, I guess Ricardo's not there. I hear you now. Yeah.
I'm good. I'm just trying to get myself situated, but I'm here. Excited to be a part of the second coming. So let's get it.
All right. And of course, not last but not least here, we got the political prophet amongst men, MD20. What's going on, MD?
Peace. What's going on? What's happening?
All right. So today is the Politics of Sex 2, the second coming. So right off the bat with the first video that came up, we never got a chance to talk in any real detail about Pete Hegseth. There's a number of things that we can comment about as far as his being qualified for the position. Not just because he came from Fox News and he really didn't have a background in anything, but really like what the video just illustrated, his questionable past and decisions that he's done. Does the character matter for that position? So let's start off with Ricardo. What do you think here about Pete Hegseth? Ultimately, he was confirmed, and he is in the Trump administration now.
Nothing really surprised me there in regards to him getting rammed straight through for the nominated pick.
That's what she said.
I mean, this is nothing new underneath the sun. We've seen it with Kavanaugh. We've seen it with quite a few other people that a lot of people as relented against being picked and chosen in terms of like a cabinet position or a spot or whatnot. Again, I question his credentials being in charge of such a very covenant spot. I don't know if he has that much experience to really be in leadership role for that particular spot. It's still questionable. I don't know why the Republicans or conservatives even decided to put him there. But again, majority rules. That's what they wanted. So again, let it burn down. If that's what you want, you can't complain after when shit hits the fan and they get what they get. The famous line goes, you get what you give. So, they got what they wanted, and let them grovel in the dysfunctionality of it all.
Okay, Ricardo, thanks for that. MD, what are your thoughts here on Pete Hegseth? And also, as far as his character, his moral character, does it mean anything? His lack of experience, does that mean anything? What's your thoughts?
Well, I mean, he's wildly underqualified for the job. That's the most important thing to me in regards to what I think of him and his position. When it comes to the I guess you would say the moral character, you know me, it really doesn't mean much. But if we're going to look at it in the sense of how he positions himself to be in a position of leadership, as such esteemed as being the Secretary of Defense, I mean, you got to look at it. You know what I mean? Are some of the things speculative? Of course, it's always going to be that. But we also have things that are not, things that are on paper. Noticeably, the NDAs that were signed by these women. There was a report that came out just after Trump got nominated, that was saying that he was going to release these women from these confidentiality agreements. It's probably a good thing that he did. and if I had to guess, the Trump transition team probably told him, hey, look, don't do that. That ain't a good look. If we're going to talk about ethics in the light of his position, you got to take stuff like that in consideration. Now, do I think that the women that were in these confidentiality agreements will be able to tell us details that whistleblowers that came out after the fact can tell us? Probably not. But in the sense of having a direct account of the things that happened when he was with concerned veterans and all the other stuff that he did when he was with Fox News, at least we would have that for the record. And you got to take a look at stuff like that when it comes to efficacy. But we living in the age of Trump, so what does that matter at the end of the day? It really didn't play a part in him being confirmed. He was going to be confirmed either way. It don't matter what he did. So in that sense, is he a slime ball? Yeah. But is he knee deep within Trumpism? Of course.
All right. Thanks, MD, on that. Also tonight, we're going to be going over the bathroom debate, gender access to the bathrooms. We're also going to look at transgenders in sports. And then there's a video I want to get everyone's opinion on. It's a societal politics, really, with women, double standards as far as certain things that a woman could say or do. And if it was put on a guy, how different would that be? And is that double standard acceptable or not? So right now, let's go into our first real video. It's a 5-minute video. This is has to do with sex trafficking. Let's take a look at this video. We'll be right back on the other end.
An announcement expected this morning in connection to what prosecutors say was a sex trafficking ring involving a Klein High School teacher and her own students.
KPRC2 has been following this investigation since April, when teacher Kedria Grigsby was arrested and charged with 3 counts of sex trafficking and 3 counts of compelling prostitution.
The victim in this case is known as Jane Doe, being represented by these 3 civil rights attorneys, and that press conference will take place at 10 o'clock this morning. And as you referenced, this is a case that KPRC2 has been following since Grigsby's arrest back in April. Investigators say that the teacher was arrested in her classroom after they found text messages between Grigsby and her son, Roger McGee, and 3 victims discussing payments of prostitution fees and where to transfer them. Investigators say that the students allegedly targeted were actually reported runaways, and so far there are 3 teens. Now, digging through court documents, we know the timeline of this investigation, however, stems back to November 8th of 2022, when investigators with the Harris County Sheriff's Office Human Trafficking Unit were called to a hotel in Spring regarding a runaway juvenile who reported to authorities that she was sex trafficked by a man known as Rico. Now, investigators later determined that to be Roger McGee, who is Grigsby's son, who is also facing charges.
This case has sparked a lot of outrage among parents, among the community. 2 days after Grigsby's arrest, community activists actually challenged Klein ISD officials, accusing the district of withholding troubling information about Grigsby for more than a year.
Was a sex trafficking ring involving a Klein Cain High School teacher, her own son, and her own students. KPRC2 has been following this investigation since April, when teacher Kedria Grigsby was arrested and charged with trafficking and compelling prostitution.
In an alleged sex trafficking case involving a former Klein ISD teacher, Kedria Grigsby and her son are accused of recruiting and trafficking several underage victims.
And today, attorneys who say they're representing a new victim are filing a federal lawsuit against the school district, claiming the district failed to protect students. Michelle Choi live with the very latest on these allegations. Michelle?
Yeah, a lot of new disturbing allegations. This is a case we've been following since last April when Grigsby was arrested. The attorneys say the person they're representing was also a student at Klein Cain High School. Outside Klein ISD headquarters this morning, attorneys referred to their client as Jane Doe.
Jane Doe made many efforts to cry out for help while being here at Klein Cain.
But those cries, civil rights attorney Bakari Sellers says, were ignored, including when he says the victim came to school covered in bruises and a teacher reported it to administrators but allegedly got no help.
Her reward for going through that trauma was that she was withdrawn from school.
Sellers says his client was among those recruited and forced into sex trafficking, allegedly by Kedra Grigsby, a cosmetology teacher at Klein Cain High School, and her son, Roger McGee.
The devastating portion is Jane Doe was forced to sleep with up to 5 to 10 men a night, make $1,000 a day for Ms. Grigsby and her son while residing with them.
Sellers and his legal team are now filing a lawsuit against mom and son, as well as Klein ISD, claiming the district dropped the ball when it came to protecting students.
We know for a fact that Ms. Grigsby's involvement was known months before her arrest.
According to Sellers, their client's phone, which is part of Harris County Sheriff's Office evidence, shows text messages and Zelle transactions between the victim and at least 100 Johns, none of whom, he says, have been charged. Sellers believes there may be at least 8 to 9 other victims. They're now asking those victims to come forward.
We're looking for all of these young ladies who are suffering in silence.
Now, in the last hour, we got a statement from Klein ISD in response to the lawsuit, which says in part that after being made aware of those new allegations, Klein ISD reached out to the Harris County Sheriff's Office to confirm whether any employees are under investigation regarding the case. The Sheriff's Office, they said, confirmed they are not working on any active leads, and further advised that if any new information surfaces, they'll look into it. But at the present, they are considering the case closed. Now, we also directly reached out to the Sheriff's Office. They confirmed to KHOU 11, while the case is considered closed for now, the prosecution, they say, continues, and if any new leads come in, they will investigate it. Meanwhile, Grigsby is out on bond. Her son remains in jail. In the newsroom, Michelle Choi, KHOU 11 News.
All right, there we go. A teacher, a trusted position in society. And once again, we have individuals that take advantage and really exploit the trust that the community gives. We'll start with Ricardo. Ricardo, what do you think about that story here on that teacher?
Very disappointing, to say the least. You're put in a position around innocent minded, I wouldn't say innocent minded, but very impressionable human beings. And to be a teacher, we know it's a stressful position. We know there's a lot of caveats that come with being a teacher. It's not a position that I respect a lot of teachers because they put up with a lot. With that being stated, though, you're put in a position to not only motivate, teach, drive knowledge, give depth. You're put in a position of authority, and that to me is when you take advantage of that, it makes you wonder, who can you trust these days? If you can't trust the teacher, who do you think these kids are going to be leaning upon? Like you're probably like in a sense, teachers also a role model. Again, put in a position of authority, to then use your own child to help, I guess, exploit these kids is another thing, and it's really sad all around. I think it's one of those things where I always tell people, vet everybody. Like, you can't, we can't be so complacent these days when it comes to your children. I don't play around with that. Like, I just, for me, if you have there's a saying that goes, if you have like a second thought about something, always go with your instinct, because everyone goes with this fine line of, oh, but this person says, you don't know. You know what I'm saying? I say, when it comes to teachers, when it comes to anything, always get a second opinion. But then again, it's also the parents' responsibility to teach children or kids, or anybody of that matter that is like of their particular age. Hey, be mindful of certain things. There's certain things you just don't do, and if you're in a position where you feel like you need to speak to somebody and about a particular person or whatnot, especially at school or in any environment, whether it be a coach, whether it be a principal, whether it be a custodian, it doesn't matter who. if they make you feel uncomfortable, come to me, come to somebody that you could talk to, but don't bottle it up and then let people exploit you. That's one of the things that I feel like, you know, in this day and age, because we're so, I think kids or, you know, of a certain age are, when we were growing up, we weren't privy to certain things that is so accessible, and the technology has made it so easy now for, you know, these poor kids to be exploited. Unlike when we were growing, and not to say it, not for nothing, when we were growing up, we weren't, you know, so the same particular issues didn't or might have affected most of us. But the internet is everybody's worst worst enemy these days, and I feel like that's one thing you got to be careful about, is the fact that we have technology, and, you know, you have internet, and you have, you know, everybody wanting 15 minutes of fame, and then, you know, you might feel like, you know, you're being neglected, you know, looking at the position of these poor kids, you know, maybe they don't have, you know, family figures at home that they could, you know, talk to, or, you know, they're probably growing themselves up at home, which a lot of times that's the case. You have a lot of kids that are, you know, having to be mature for their age, and it's scary because kids can't be kids no more. They have to be worried about a whole plethora of things that really they shouldn't be worried about at their particular age. With that being stated, though, this woman, this despicable human being, chose to use her grown ass son to do sex trafficking. It's one thing to and I wouldn't even expect this from a woman, but it goes to show women also sex traffic, and it's very shocking when it comes up. I guess it's a double standard to that because it's always men that you hear about. But like I stated, sex trafficking is not just subjected to one particular environment or one particular location. It's affecting everywhere, whether it be suburbia, whether it be, you know, in, you know, the quietest parts of wherever, to the slums of wherever. You're getting sex trafficking everywhere. You have to literally be careful. It's like, if you see something, you say something. It's one of those things where you have to, like, it's very evident when someone's acting weird, even at my, you know, in terms of like you're out and about, whether you be at the supermarket, whether you be in the movie theater, whether you be you're traveling in the airport, whether you, it's like, even, you know, and MD could tell you, there's even moments where you're probably at a truck stop. You notice there's certain stuff that you see, you're like, all right, that doesn't seem normal and whatnot. Do I then say something about it? Yes, you do. You kind of like, you know, bring that to somebody's attention, whether it be the authorities, whether it be whoever. But it's very, very, very seldom these days where you not hear about sex trafficking. It's very evident now, more so than I even thought about in the 90s. So again, when it comes to kids in school, I'm not expecting that to be a main attributary thing, but here we are. It's now in schools, which is scary because you're like, if your kids can't be protected in school, where the hell are they going to be protected at? You know what I'm saying? So you as a parent now have to be like fine-tuning stuff. You got to be involved in your kids' life, involved in what they're watching, involved in their technology and their phones. You know, my kids don't have phones yet, but when they do have phones, you know, I'm going to be watching it carefully, watching their mannerisms. If you're happy-go-lucky one day and then the next minute you're quiet, that's a cause for concern for me. I need to know who my kids are around, whether it be, you know, these what you call them? They call them student bodies. Those security detail people that are always around the damn schools. There's a specific name for them. I can't even think of it right now. But I watch out for everybody. I trust no one when it comes to my kids. I'm the cause for concern. I don't smiley with nobody. My face is serious tone. When it comes to my kids, I don't want you to even touch my kid a certain particular way. If I see you doing something, I'm gonna bring it to your attention, homeboy, whatever your name is. Don't touch my kid's face. Don't do. There's some things I'm like, my wife would tell you, I'm stickler for. Don't play around with my kids. You feel me? Because I will cut you in pieces, and you don't want me to get to that. There's a Jamaican side of me that you will never want to see coming from the garrisons that I grew up in. You don't want that. My kids are the most innocent part of me, and when, you know, somebody affect their detailment, it's a big cause for concern, because I will cut you alive, and I will say that in the show. I will kill you, and I would make no qualms about that. I will go to jail for them. With that being stated, she's a despicable human being. The son is no better, and, you know, that poor girl, you know, and the many others that were affected by this, hopefully they get the assistance, the help that they need. But this is no joke, y'all. Like, sex trafficking is real. It's very evident, especially here. If you live in Florida, you know about it. It's evident in Georgia. It's evident everywhere. It's not just, again, limited to one specific location. It's everywhere, and literally the tall tale signs are there. So, you know, all around, it's just a sad story just to see that it's now involved in schools. I hope that there's so much more that people can do, and if they could be brought to many people's attention, including teaching younger kids at a certain age what to look out for. I think there should be PSAs and a whole bunch of stuff involved in getting that, you know, across the board, that knowledge. You know what I mean? But that's all I got to say about it.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Ricardo. Yeah. I mean, Florida is consistently ranked top 3 in trafficking cases every year. So it's very real. It's very dangerous. MD, you have kids. What's your thought on this type of story here, where you have trusted people in society that should do what they should be doing, but they're doing something else?
So you know, I'm gonna go somewhere different later on, but yeah, I agree 100% with Ricardo. You know, these people should be, you know, prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, especially under the grounds that they were somewhere that we call a place of protection, which is, you know, the schools. And, you know, if in any regard that things were happening on school grounds that would corroborate the story as far as the trafficking in and of itself, oh yeah, you going up under the jail. But you know, let me be me for a second. So Bakari Sellers, when he was talking, let me get this straight. Maybe I was misunderstanding. So Venkat, are they trying to say that the school itself should be held liable for? Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm not gonna.
Okay. I saw it unmuted. So that was the question I was asking. Is Bakari Sellers saying that the school itself should be held liable for allowing that to fester as an employee of the school?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, it happened on their grounds. Granted, the school isn't having a vested interest in this happening. They're not making it happen, but maybe there should have been something from the school's end to.
There should have been measures.
Right.
Okay, all right, cool, gotcha. So when we have these conversations, and you know, this is why I'm gonna be me. When we have these conversations, I don't know, let's say about school shootings, right? You've consistently said on this show that there shouldn't be any measures from the school. It should come directly from legislation as it pertains to the guns. So if, you know, as diabolical as this is, I'm not saying that it's not. I'm saying that I'm seeing I guess you would say a familiarity as far as what we say when it comes to pertaining to school protections. Can you at least agree with that?
I mean, yeah, they should. I mean, you should have legislation. 100%.
Look at Trevor.
Well,
so it should come from the legislative side, not from an individual.
No, I mean, you definitely need something from the legislative side, but there also needs to be something within the school. It shouldn't just be all in one on the government, on legislators.
And
the school should also have its own aspect.
And not only that, the school there's liability involved, right? MD. So the school can't just say, "Oh, we're not gonna, you know, we're not a part of it." It's on your grounds. It's within your walls that these things are happening. So
I agree. I agree. The parameters need to be there. That's why I use the example of the school shooting. What would be the parameters there?
So the parameters would be that they have at least have a security guard on the ground, just like, if, for instance, we're going to use an example, would be Marjorie Green, the school shooting in Coral Springs. where, you know, at least they have some kind of security detailment there in the school, at least if it means to have one or two. Now, if they can't handle it, then, you know, if it gets to a severe point or critical point, you then call the Broward sheriff, or you call, you know, whatever law enforcement that's available. Now, we all know how that went, you know, so
who's supposed to protect the students?
so
The
repeat that again. You said who's there to
the
protect
administration of the staff of the school, because the parents are at
Okay,
work.
gotcha. I got you. Cool. In a school shooting, who protects the students? And you can swap that out for this situation. It really don't matter.
Y'all walked right into that one, boy.
No, it ain't working anything, because it's all the same. It's all the same. It's all the same.
You're right. It's all the same. I absolutely agree.
I don't.
It's all the same.
But what you people are suggesting is that teachers are coming out packed like Dirty Harry, and I don't think that's the solution.
Yeah, you can't.
So
it's not every teacher is gonna be, you know, gun centric like that. Like, what if you're a nurse?
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? You're gonna shoot on impulse. That's not gonna help you. Again, so then are you then saying, MD, that you then train every teacher to then have a gun license? What if they don't?
No.
They have you know, conviction against using guns, you know, based on religion?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that if you are a teacher at a school and you are also expressing your Second Amendment right, you should be able to do both. The Mann Act and the school ground issue are one and the same. If I'm an American citizen first, then I'm as what it is, whatever the situation me as it pertains to my employment. What I'm saying is, just like this situation, where there should have been something, I guess you would say, preemptive, that would be able to facilitate this young lady coming to a resource person or whoever it may be. You have to have this all around. So I agree with everything that y'all saying, but I'm saying y'all agree with me first and foremost as it pertains to all those conversations that we had about what liability means and what you can do from I guess you would say, a public standpoint to manage those liabilities. So I agree.
But then, so again, MD. So when you have, because, you know, most schools, again, I'm assuming most schools now would have at least some kind of security detailment. Whether it be you're gonna go through, what do you call those things? Like when you go through the courtrooms now, you have to take off all your jewelry, weapons, and all of that stuff. You have the machines and all of that, and then you have like some kind of security. I mean, it's always at a school. That since Columbine, we all knew that there's always going to be something there. What I'm trying to understand your point is there. So, shouldn't there always be someone there that poor innocent girl could have went to and go, okay, I'm going to close the door now. I'm going to discuss a great detailment about what has been transpiring in regards to me. There is this particular person that is involved in this school that is of high favor, you know, is teaching students, a part of this entire administration. On campus, there have been certain situations where I have been exploited, where I have been abused. Where do I go from here? There's usually like what do you call those people that usually are at schools that you could go to and
counselors
or
resource officers, counsel, like that's one resource. I'm saying you shouldn't just be defined by that one resource. You should have a multitude of resources that are provided to the students. I'm not disagreeing with you. You know, everything that you're saying is 100% correct.
But then what, to Venkat's point, is the government then funding enough to give these resources to schools? Remember, these are the
no, they're not.
So then what's the solution to that then? Because, you know, you're going to get to that situation now where we're going to go, okay, well, what was the government doing in terms of, because there's always going to be that one person. So who is there to help? Is it the state that's supposed to be jumping in here to help the schools to at least help with the resources of like the guidance counselors, the whoever counselor? the whatnot, because this girl needed to go to somebody. There should be an open door policy somewhere where she could feel comfortable to be like, listen, I don't speak much, but this is what's happening right now. What do I do? Then when the girl goes to that person, what does because I'm sure there's confidentiality agreements or whatnot, or NDAs or whatnot. Then what does that person do with that information, who is now a part of the resource facility for the school? Do they then bring it to the principal? Then what does the principal do with that information? What is the next step from there? Like, who then takes charge of the whole situation to then bring it to the law enforcement officer to then arrest that SOB that did this to the girl? That's where we're getting at. Shouldn't the government still be involved somewhere? Either it be the state or the overall federal, in terms of assisting, either with resources, funds, with allocating for the enough people to be there in the school. Because again, let's face facts, this is schools we're talking about here. There's not enough money all around to do this. This is why most of the states go with lottery systems to fund certain things regarding schools. There really isn't that much funding going into schools. We could disagree, we could openly agree on certain things, but we know that much. So to a certain point now, I'm going to ask you, MD, shouldn't the government be involved somewhere in terms of allocating funding to then assist with hiring or employing certain people that would then take that step to assist this poor girl? Or you're saying no, that we shouldn't, funding is one thing, but then we're going to just all around just let the school bypass this one and it's everybody for themselves. There's no teammates.
Well, I'll say that to this, and I'll let this be my last point. Whatever the situation may be, whether it be allegations of trafficking, school shootings, bullying, whatever the situation may be, I understand that every school is different. My interpretation of the school choice, now this ain't the interpretation of MAGA maniacs, so don't like put me in that same puddle, because that ain't it. My interpretation of school choice is allow each individual district, hell, even if it can be in each individual school, however you want to do it, allow them, give them the resources, allocate the funds, and allow them to facilitate how they build a network of what it takes to get these particular children ahead. If you don't do that, you're going to end up with a situation like No Child Left Behind. We know how that worked out. You can't just give the money and then put just a blanket platform for everybody. Kids are different. You know what I'm saying? Situations in particular schools are different. Hoods are different. We know this. So what I'm saying is, my interpretation of school choice, if it were up to me, I would take government out of it, give the money, but allow them to resource the way they see fit in regards to how they teach that particular group of children. That's what I would do. So
are you saying private sector wise, there should be like it should be like how you have
it should be ran like the private sector, but it should be federally funded.
So who is going to be the mediator in all of this? There should be a watchdog somewhere that says, okay, well, if we're going to give you funding, someone is policing the funding overall, because that's always been the issue. Who is policing?
If that's what you want, Ricardo, you should be good with Trump then, because that's what he want to do. That's a fact. Is that not what he want to do? Trump wants to mandate how these schools are ran. If you don't do it the way he want to do it, you don't get the money.
Yeah, but
that's what he wants.
Yeah, that's true.
But then there's always the overseer that's watching everything, though. That in terms of what we're doing, though, MD, it's for him, it's vindictiveness that's what he's going on. But from what we know of, there's always someone that's saying, all right, if we're gonna give you $50 million for whatever, at least you should give us we need to see your books in terms of how you're getting the $50 million, what you're doing in terms of the allocation of it, how much funding you're going to need for the next, how many umpteen years going forward. And if you run out of funding for the first year, then clearly something is wrong, because you're overusing the funds in terms of when we're giving it to you. So then that's what I mean in terms of that. What Trump is doing, he's trying to do things on vindictiveness and going, okay, well, I'm going to cut off this for so-and-so because this person did so-and-so. That's not how it usually goes.
Because they woke.
Or
He's
whatever
cutting
they want
off
to call it.
woke.
whatever they want to call it these days, until it affects because the notion it goes is it's affecting just a certain segment of people. But then when they realize it affects everybody in this broad stroke, then it's like, oh no, woe is me. We can't be doing that. Oh, so when it was affecting just the black people, it wasn't an issue. But now when it affects y'all in the Appalachians, the very poor whites, it's a problem now. Oh, now we get it. That's what I mean. Like it's the vindictiveness of you trying to seek revenge, but that's not what I'm going with. I'm going by the notion of, okay, then if you're gonna say, for instance, I'm using an example here, the police, not to go into babbling, but who's gonna watch the police when the police start doing certain things based on how he's trying to do his interpretation of it? There's somebody that needs to watch all of this overall. But then when you take out all of that and no one's policing anything, then that's a cause for concern, because who's going to be the disciplinary person or the mediator to step in and go, all right, well, MD, as a police officer, what you did was clearly wrong, so I'm going to take away your pension, I'm going to take all of that. That's what I mean by that. Like, there should be certain things, provisions in place that, checks and balances. I always go with the checks and balances. We're going to go with the whole constitution notion of how this thing should be run in this particular country. I go by the checks and balances. But then, MD, you're saying private sector. That's it. We all see how that went when it came to aviation, right? How many years ago it was always private sector until 9/11 happened, and then it's like, oh, we need TSA to step in. Now they're going, no, TSA is going way overboard. Let's get rid of TSA. Then what are you going to do now when you get rid of TSA? Then doesn't that bring back the whole issue of what was pre 9/11? That's what I mean by that. It's a little bit confusing.
I got you. One last thing, because Ricardo went again. One last thing, and I'm gonna let Mike go. It's a false notion that, like, the federal government funds our schools. That's kind of really not the case. The federal government funds programs for public school, like lunch programs, stuff like that. It's really local funding, local funding by way of property taxes that funds these schools. So if you look at it from that way, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, off that notion. What I'm saying is, schools should not be funded by property taxes, like, at all. Because all of us know that the poorer the community, the worse the schools, by way of low property taxes. That's just a fact. So what I'm saying is, put more of an emphasis, and this coming from me, I'm the less government guy. I'm telling you that put more focus on federal funding as it pertains to the entire system, but don't mandate certain regulations on the school. No Child Left Behind was a disaster. We tried that already. Every school is different. Every neighborhood, every city, every state is different. Give them the money and let them run it. If you're worried about how the money getting spent, that's why you got your PTA. That's why you got your school board. We need to stop focusing on federal government and focus on local. And I'll leave it at that.
All right, thanks, MD. So we got Murr, and the political provoker amongst pervs. Welcome to the show, sir. Your viewpoint.
Thank you kindly, sir. It's Mir. Murr would be a U.
It just sounds better. It rolls off the tongue better.
I'll bump it, then you can have it. No biggie.
Depends on the dialect.
Unless you come from where Glorilla comes from. All right. Here's my issue with what MD is saying. When we had the big conversation about free market and all that, right? We had a big conversation about that. And I told you my fear is who's going to be in charge. It doesn't change with this. This is literally the reason I was afraid for Trump to win, because of what Ricardo was trying to say. And I don't think he got it all the way out, but I know what he was trying to get at. You can't leave. There can't be something that's just state or just federal. There needs to be a melding. It needs to be a melding, because the state is too close, and the closer you are, the more corruption can take over. I'm not saying the federal government isn't corrupt. I'd be a fool to say that. I'm saying the closer you get to local, the more corruption runs things. The closer you get to a town that doesn't have oversight, the more you get to a town that the sheriff runs everything. You can't do anything unless the sheriff lets you do it. Or the mayor's the only other person that could stop him. You know, those little towns where they take your civil rights bit by bit and you can't say anything because who are you going to get? The FBI to come in? And it takes them years to get there. That's what's going to happen with schools. You start doing this, giving a blank check to the states. You think white supremacy is not going to funnel that money to where the hell they want anyway? I guarantee you do that, there'll be ripped up textbooks in black neighborhoods just like they are now. Nothing will change. There needs to be oversight. Same thing with anyone who's going to be watching over the children, because white supremacy is there as well. I know you guys hate when I say white supremacy, but it is what it is. There's going to be people that are going to look at black kids and say they're violent. Oh, that little black girl. Did you see a little black 11-year-old girl who got handcuffed on the side of the road because some grown-up woman that had the same pants she had on robbed somewhere, and this little girl's 11 and just got out of school? It doesn't matter. To them, we always look like adult perpetrators. I'm not willing to leave it in the hands of these people who I don't trust to be in charge of my kid without some oversight. I need a corrupt person looking over another corrupt person, trying to keep them, both of them, honest. You remember that old Biggie line? I got accountants watching accountants so I don't go broke. I need people who are invested in being corrupt to make sure nobody else is out corrupting them to negate the corruption that's happening. Because that's all a government is. It's corruption occurring and people trying to lessen it. That's it, so they get reelected. That's all government is to me. So I can't trust what you're saying, MD, as far as you're basically saying let the free market reign. And I told you when the free market reigned with the government without the restrictions, you saw what happened. Extreme corruption, extreme disgusting things, extreme robbery. Come on, bro, we still miss the money from the Iraq War. I don't trust these people, and I'm surprised you do. Now, as far as the thing at the school, hey man, I told y'all the day I become a billionaire, the day I win the lotto or something happens, I'm gonna make myself a little militia that's under. All I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna look at MD's face when I say this, because he probably would be one of the few people that get what I'm saying. All I'm saying is the spook who sat by the door. That's all I'm saying, and I'm gonna leave it at that.
Real quick, Mike. I don't disagree with nothing you said, Mike. When you talk about oversight, what I'm telling you is you have the ability to be the oversight. Why take that power away from yourself? That's all I'm saying.
I'll tell you why. Because these towns that exist, these small towns, even the city I live in, you guys say I live in a backwater. There's only hey, they do. They do. I'm on I-95. They say I live in the boonies. I can only yell so much. I can walk outside. I've walked outside at 3 a.m, walked to my car, and had a police officer ride by my house and ask me what I was doing there. I told him, none of your business. I'm going back in my house now. And then I turned around. He pulled up in my house, told me I needed to stop. I said, you have no reason to stop me. I walked to my door. He runs up behind me and says, what are you doing here? And I look at him and go, what are you doing on my property? You need to get off my property. He wants ID. He wants ID for me to prove that I belong on the land that I'm paying for, right? Now, my city's big enough that I could turn my phone on and say, this man has walked on my property, da-da-da-da, and he said the stuff that they always say, oh, just give me the ID. Just give me the ID and you can prove it. Just give me the ID. And it got to a point where I was like, you know what? I'm going to use my fingerprint to walk through this door. And when I do, is that good enough for you to get the fuck off to get the hell out of my property? And he said, oh, that'd be fantastic. And I buzzed the door. And as soon as the door opened, he was like, well, can I still get the ID? And I just turned the door and slammed it in his face and locked it. Now, that only occurs because Wayne Ivey has my city the way that he has it. Because there is no, even if I were to go to court and try to, hey, this man put himself on my property, he had no what's RAS, no reasonable articulable suspicion that I was committing a crime, they're gonna throw it out. You go to IA, they're gonna say, oh, well, he saw a threat, he did whatever he's supposed to do, it's no big deal. Because it's corrupt. Because it takes the FBI to come into small cities and stop it. And all I'm saying is, you give blanket money to small cities, they're going to F it off. They're going to give it to Brett Favre. If y'all get that joke. They're gonna give it to Brett Favre. They're gonna give it to people that are popular. They're gonna give it to people that are famous because they're gonna want something from them, and the kids are going to suffer. I'm done.
All right, Mike. Thanks for that. Wait a minute. We got Mr. Straight Talk here on the panel. What's going on, Trevor?
Sir TJ
We
Hammer.
got Shiesty Trev.
I can't. MD. Well, because I want to give you the benefit of the doubt as to what you were really getting at before I say what I'm gonna say. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah,
we're being respectful.
I don't know. I don't know what you want to fight over. I agree with everything everybody said.
Who pays? Okay, first of all, who provides the SRO officers to the school?
The local government is usually the city or the county sheriff or police department or whatever.
No, the sheriff's office, the local sheriff's office.
Yeah, that's what I said.
And who funds that?
The local government.
The state, correct?
Say what?
The state, correct?
I mean, it's
local government.
Yeah, local guy. Again, see, every city, every state is not the same. Is what I'm telling you, Trail. The SRO, like at my son's school, the SRO comes directly from the city. Directly from the city. We know, me and you, everybody on the panel knows that the local police department is funded by who? The state. The state is funded by who? The federal government. It's a trickle down effect. I'm not saying, again, one SRO is not enough. If you think that the SRO is enough to be preemptive on anything that happens, that's crazy. That's crazy, Trail.
That's what I was getting at. I don't think the SRO is enough. That's why I wanted.
Well, we agree.
That's why I want to see where you're coming at, because I don't want to give my county, man, because I got people who really don't like me and they'll try to find me. But let's say in my county, the high schools get 2 SRO officers mandatory. 2 resource officers per. My graduating class in my high school was 500. That was just our graduating class. So that means that our school at one point probably had like 2,000 kids in there. We would agree that 2 resource officers and some custodians acting as security can't police 2,000 kids, correct?
I 100% agree. 100% agree.
So
now, with that being said, though, Trail, you would take issue. I'm assuming if you anything like Venkat, you would take issue with a private citizen that happens to work for the state public school system to express whatever rights they have as a citizen. Like, I don't know, having a pistol in their purse. You would take issue with that, right?
Well, you're talking about teachers. I mean, we've had this conversation. I'm not against arming teachers. I see the pros and cons. I see the pros and cons for that. But don't get me off my point here though. For middle schools in our county, there's 3 resource officers that patrol all the middle schools in the county. Would we agree that that's just not enough? Correct?
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same in my district. We only got the 2 that goes to all the middle schools and the 1 high school and the elementary schools. So now
the elementary schools, now you have floaters where they allocate 9 of them to cover the entire county for the entirety of the elementary schools. So what I'm getting at here is when you have these atrocities going on in the school, where the trafficking and the bullying and all this other stuff, there is just not enough supervision to do anything. Because by the time officer such and such gets from his first post, he can't make it over in time to take care of what's going on in the other thing. And then first, let me say to Ricardo's point, a lot of our kids don't feel that they can come talk to us. So when you have stuff like this going on in schools, they'll never come tell you anyway, because a lot of modern parents, they don't make time. They don't make their kids feel comfy enough that they could come talk to them about any damn thing. So this stuff just goes on forever. And God forbid they learn their kids' behavioral patterns that they can see if anything goes wrong with their kids. If my daughter has a bump on her face, I know it because I study her. My daughter, if I see any change in her attitude, she can't leave from in front of me until I know exactly what's going on. And that's the issue that we have. And I'm not blaming the parents for what's going on here at all, because I saw somebody in the chat earlier mention something about where are the parents. Listen, man, when you send your kids, the scariest thing in the world is every morning for me to know that my daughter's going to school where she's not around me to protect her. And you're trusting the school board, the teachers, you're trusting the same teachers that are underpaid. A lot of them have lost the love of teaching, so they really don't give a damn. They're literally babysitters, and you're trusting them. The classes are oversized. Sometimes you're putting 30 kids in one class to a teacher with no help. You can't do that. And it just goes back to the lack of care for education, because nobody gives a damn about education. They allocate the least amount of money to education, and it's just a mess, man. So the problem is, and the issue is, what are we going to do? What are we going to do, and how are we going to fix this? Because it's only going to get worse.
It sounds like you arguing my point.
Yo, he just came on here because he wanted to say what he wanted to say. He ain't had no beef with you, MD. He just wanted to talk.
No, I came on here because I want to play this video.
One quick note here. The girl or the girls that were being prostituted or whatever, they were runaways, if I'm not mistaken, what the story said. So where the parents are, we don't know where the parents are.
Again, different situations in different areas, man. You can't get around that. There is no all-encompassing solution to it. It's just not.
Trevor, you got the video?
Yeah, let me play this video real quick, because my daughter, she ain't feeling good, so I got to go tend to her. Let me play this real quick.
I wanted you to be on the second video, Trevor.
Yeah, I can't.
On the next video I got.
She just came to me crying, man. I'm just about to play this video, and I got to go. Hold on, let me cue it up. All right, you guys can see it?
There you go.
Yeah, we can see it. And this is local.
I don't see anything. Oh, okay.
So this is local. So you tell me, how do you police against something like this?
Volunteer basketball coach is accused of preying on a 10-year-old boy.
Yeah, police say that the coach showed the boy his privates and offered a gift to the child in exchange for his X-rated pictures. NBC 6's Jamie Grolla is live in Miami with more on this disturbing story. Jamie.
Yeah, according to police, the boy met the volunteer coach here at Gibson Park in Overtown, although we want to make clear that the folks here at Gibson Park say that the coach is not associated with them and does not work here either. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at his mugshot. He is 26 years old. His name is Charles Williams. He also goes by the name Hesse. The arrest form says Williams was a basketball coach at Belfonte Tecalci Center in Miami. According to his arrest report, Williams was inappropriately text messaging the child, asking him to show his private parts in exchange for an electric scooter. The victim told police he and the coach began texting a couple months ago on iMessage and PS5 chat. They also apparently FaceTimed 2 times, and Williams allegedly exposed himself. Investigators say Williams even guided the boy on how to delete the text messages from his cell phone. All of this unraveled by the 10-year-old's brother, who got suspicious and went through his phone, finding the inappropriate conversations.
We investigated the case. We had enough information, so we made an arrest, and he's been arrested and charged with several charges. We believe that there could be other people out there that he's tried to talk to. Anyone that has information about this person that's been arrested, please contact the City of Miami Police Department. Share that information, whether it's about this case or any other instance that might have occurred with this person.
A volunteer.
That's outrageous.
So how do two SRO officers protect that? It was his brother that found it out, not even an official.
That's a parent's thing, because that wasn't an official of the school, is what they said, and you got to watch your child. Trust me, I freak out about my daughter. My daughter was talking to somebody on whatever that Roblox game, and there was just some person telling her, "Oh, let's come over here and you could buy me this." And I kept looking at her like, "Why? Why this person needs you to buy them stuff?" "Oh, it's my friend." "What do you mean it's your friend?" And I just had a bunch of questions, and it led me to go, "She's no longer your friend. Get off the game." And now she's friends with Leia, because I know Leia. I've seen Leia, and I know Leia's a girl. But my daughter couldn't understand that just because someone called himself Ruby doesn't mean it's a girl. It's probably a 49-year-old guy sitting in the basement somewhere.
Facts.
So you have to be on your P's and Q's.
Yes, man.
So listen to what my daughter just said about Roblox. So go ahead and tell them.
I only friend people on Roblox that I actually know, like Michaela. I know her in real life, so I have her added in like my school friends and stuff, not random.
That's right, baby. That's right.
So there you go. Word of advice out of the mouth of babes, the Bible say. But I gotta go, man, because she's not feeling good. So I'll be listening in the back though.
Hey, tell her I said if she ever catch Michaela friending somebody that's not one of them, tell me.
Yeah. All right. All right, so let's keep it going. We had half of the Man Talk Monday crew, but we still got one of them. So I'm gonna go to this video since we got Mike here. The double standards, creepy women doing things that if men did, it would be really messed up. So let's take a look at this video. We'll have our thoughts on the other end.
Have you ever heard of a woman being called creepy before?
Actually, that's an interesting question because
It is, isn't
I
it?
don't. No. No, I don't think I have.
Having sex with her 15-year-old student and sending nude pictures and texting "I love you" to the boy.
Literally on stage by this woman.
I feel violated right now. I did grab his butt. I'm single, but I think that's cougar.
I want the little young boys. This photo, it is currently going extremely viral. Him and his daddy can run a train on me. Call me R. Kelly, honey. Ooh, his ass can get it. Lil gon' get it.
This right here is a prime example of why a lot of issues cannot be resolved between men and women.
Let me tell you something. What I would do to you with your blue eyes.
Suck on the bottom lip.
Imagine if a father,
If son's friends comes round and does this in the garden.
imagine if a father put that on social media. The hate he would get for saying about his daughter having hot friends. But it's okay for women to do it.
See you, bro.
Parents who sexualize their own children all in attempt for a viral video.
Everything she's doing, nobody wants to take accountability for it. It's okay because she's a woman.
38-year-old Tracy Vanderholst. Victim is a 16-year-old boy.
Tatum Hatchell, Jessica Lawson.
Substitute teacher is accused of raping one of her 11-year-old students.
A teacher in Connecticut.
With the minor.
This is lasting damage.
In the past, women were not arrested. It may very well be that this has been going on for a much longer period of time.
Prosecutors say she assaulted as many as 21 children.
Women do the same thing, if not worse.
That's right, boys, women can be just as creepy as men, if not worse, but you never hear about this because even though there's a massive exploitation crisis going on with female teachers in the classroom,
the female teacher-to-student relationship cases are happening far too often.
Involve students as young as 12.
You don't usually get so many cases like this back to back to back.
The major news channels are all silent about it, but the reality is, as women get older, they tend to get a whole lot creepier, especially since modern women are addicted to attention and really want to know if they still got it.
But me, like the past 10 years, I don't have any of that male attention.
But before getting into the problems of older women trying to date as they hit the wall, let's quickly first look at two prime examples of older women becoming extremely creepy with their own children, all because they are starved for attention and want to be popular on social media. Take this mother for instance. Now she loves to make cringy TikTok videos with her kids, and if you want to do that, that's fine. But that same mother is also making videos like these on that same account. Like, what the hell is going on here? And when you take a closer look, this entire account just screams single mother begging for attention from her children's friends, constantly needing to show that she still got it. But all she's really showing is that she has zero boundaries or standards. But unfortunately, it can always get a lot worse. Take this mother and son for instance. She has to literally dodge her own son trying to make out with her just to make the video go more viral. What the hell is wrong with these people? Now it's easy to call the son a complete freak for trying to make out with his own mother, but the problem here is that she's the adult and parent in this situation that keeps encouraging him to make this type of nonsense. Since they have dozens of videos where they keep pushing the boundaries, loving the fact that they go viral and that people are disgusted by it, when you start introducing actual breastfeeding, you've completely lost the plot. Now on the surface, this just looks like a mother making the occasional wholesome breastfeeding video to simply showcase that breastfeeding is natural and should be done anywhere at any time without shame, which I don't really have a problem with. However, when you take a closer look at her page, then what the hell is this video? Do you still think there's nothing sexual here? Well then what about this one, where she's wearing the skimpiest see-through robe, presenting her ass to the camera while wearing no bra, while she's pretending to be a stripper sweeping up $100 bills. Yeah, she's not fooling anyone, and her page is clearly targeted to a male audience with a sexual undertone. They'll try to spin a narrative that is far more positive than the reality.
It's about being older and being single.
I don't even have a person to get pregnant with.
Now another interesting phenomenon that's never talked about when it comes to older women is that a lot of them are actually broke losers.
Unemployed, live with your parents, figuring your life out basically.
I am 41 years old, single, without kids, living in a van outside my mom's house.
Feeling a bit lost and behind and I'm like, what the f am I doing? So I thought I would give you a bit more information as to where I'm at with my journey.
Currently building a tiny home. This is my tiny home I'm building, and it's literally next door to my mom's house. Mom, you happy that I'm moving next door?
Yeah.
You see, you constantly hear about men being broke and living with their parents at 30, but a woman in her 30s or even 40s who lives with her parents is some sort of independent queen who supposedly chooses a soft life.
Example of soft girl life. I'm choosing a softer life where I'm living with my parents to indulge in a job and my creativity that I just enjoy more, and no desire to work towards a mortgage.
What a bunch of bullshit. These women aren't choosing anything, they're simply struggling, which is okay and can happen to a lot of people, but don't try to sell it as some spiritual choice. But the story gets even more ridiculous when you start taking a closer look.
Half of me thinks, no Lindsay, you're being lazy, sort your life out, get a job, like a lot of negative self-talk.
How is getting a job and sorting out your life negative self-talk? It is basic functioning as an adult human. And this is what I mean, right? These modern older women never grow up. They just become toddlers in adult bodies, wanting a man to fully take care of them as if they are a child. But my point is that society would never let a man comfortably wallow in this much chaos and say, no, it's just fine, just focus on self-healing and do whatever feels right.
And I'm not sure if I want to do the business anymore, then what the hell am I doing? Feeling sorry for myself and had a bit of a cry. I've been wallowing, and that's allowed.
No, they would call him a fat bald loser and demand he gets his shit together, as he should. And this again proves that the narrative being spun does not align with reality.
All right. There we go. So we're going to go right to Myrrh, get Myrrh's opinion on what we just saw.
I am so overjoyed. Like, you have no idea how happy that made me. Because, what up, Eddie? Because when I say everything that guy said, I get this anti-me, anti-man rhetoric from women, because women have been programmed to rage against anything men say against women in this country. If a man says, hey man, you shouldn't be waiting around for some dude. Oh, you hate women. Oh, why didn't you try to get married early? Oh, you trying to tell us what you know what it is. You trying to tell us what to do. Who the hell are you to tell us what to? We're your fathers, we're your uncles, we're your cousins. The same way I listen to women when they tell me how to move around women, when they tell me how to deal with women, you're supposed to listen to men, but they don't. They've basically labeled men as the enemy, and you guys hear me say this all the time. It's not. That is correct, Shicey Bum. It's not a black woman problem. It's a woman problem. And I say this all the time. It's not a man versus woman. It's not a man versus woman fight in this world. It's a good versus evil. Good versus bad at best. These women have been lied to and have been told that life is going to be on easy street, that all they got to do is get their asses nice, get their bodies right, and some guy will come around, show up, and take care of them. And it is a lie. It's a lie. The world is not made, the world, America especially, but the world is not made for us to go at it alone. We're supposed to be together. If you think you're going to make it to Social Security and Social Security is going to carry you to your dying days, if you're going to live to your 70s, I promise you, you won't. When I was a kid and I was playing baseball, we were trying to make it at Nationals, I remember my coach wanted to take us out for pizza, but he couldn't. And we used to ask him why. And he said, well, I'm on a fixed income. I can't really, go past this spending. And we asked him why. And he kept telling, well, my wife died and da-da-da-da, because he lost out on that. So, bro, you're not supposed to be alone. I know women go, I can do bad by myself. You're not supposed to. But you can't live in a thought process that everything is for you and you're supposed to get everything. That's what leads to this bull crap. That's what leads to this nonsense. She's in her 40s looking for attention from 18-year-olds. You don't think that's a mental issue? You don't think there's something wrong with her?
Red flag 101.
You feel me? That's crazy. What man in her age range is going to want to be around that? All she's going to be is a thought toy for young dudes. You want to call yourself a cougar? Go ahead, do it. But cougars be alone. The only way cougars get attention is when they got the new PlayStation 6 early or the new Jordans early. That's it. Dudes don't choose y'all. Because as soon as you act up, he going back to Mary at the college. He ain't worried about you, but you can't tell him that. That's why 3 out of 4 women, she don't want me to say black women, but it's black. 3 out of 4 black women that are educated are single. Because they get it in their mind that, I don't need you, I don't need this, I don't need that. And it leads to this nonsense. Now, I'm not fronting men on their own, they do some dumb shit. But we're not talking about men. Any day you guys want to have, if she was a man, it wouldn't be. No, if she was a man, it would be a problem. Men are not supposed to, it's not supposed to be this way. That's what I'm telling you. Men messed up. I'm not fronting that. I'm not going to act like men didn't mess up. Men messed up. Women messed up too. The problem is women wanted to become men. And when they did that, it threw the whole natural order of things off. Women want to become men, but they don't want to be full men. They want to have all the good stuff that men have, and then they want to have all the good stuff that women have. And you can't function like that. Nobody will take you seriously. And this world and our culture is going to go down the drain. I take it back. It's going to go further down the drain because it's already down the drain. I don't know how you guys can look at this crop of women and think, I would love to wife someone in this. It's crazy. Women that are, I'm not going 50-50, but they'll break up with that guy and go 100 by themselves and live in a hovel instead of going 50-50 and having a nice house. Why? Because of principle. What? Where are the people that are, and I can't even blame the fathers. I would love to blame the fathers, but I can't because women get told what to do. I've done it myself. I had people I grew up with and people younger than me. You tell them what to do, but they don't want to hear it because they homegirls say bad bitches get everything. That's all that old white lady was doing in the video. She's trying to be a bad bitch. Bad bitches get everything. So bad bitches get dick, attention, and sent home. That's it. I'm gonna see the rest of my time. Excuse me.
All right, thanks, Mike. So MD, Political Prophet, you saw the video. What were your thoughts about what was on the video?
Yeah, you know, a lot of times I would say, I don't dabble in stuff like that. But for the sake of the show, Politics and Sex Part 2, I must do it. So I'll say this: women in general have been put in a social place for so long that they have basically set into a disease of social dysphoria. That's what I would call it. Any type of dysphoria, when you can get out of that rut and see some type of acceptance from any outlet, they're gonna act a damn fool. That's just a fact. My argument is because we see it on TV all the time. 9 times out of 10, when you see a case of sexual misconduct in a school, it's gonna be a female teacher toward a young boy, a young man. That's 9 times out of 10. We can agree on that, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So my hypothesis in the situation would be these women are obviously accepting the littlest morsel of attention. Why? Because of the social dysphoria. They have been put, or I didn't even say have been put. They have been engineered to accept a certain place in society, even up into the point where now the barriers have been broken, obviously, from the mid-19th century on, of socioeconomic independence. The question then would become, how can you still be in that social place, mother, wife, et cetera, and become this socially economic independent person? I ain't gonna say woman because it's you making the money. Don't matter who you are. What happened was they became discombobulated to a point where their finances, their education, their social stature took priority over what we would say are the social priorities naturally of a woman. I don't say that. Mike might say that. Or Ricardo, or even Venkat. They may say that. Again, totally socially engineered. But it's equating one situation or lifestyle to another. Up into a point where you become so isolated in who you are as a person, where you just feel out of place. You feel isolated, you feel caged in, to where you would take any morsel of attention, no matter where it comes from. Messed up situation. I ain't saying, it's a good thing, because it's not. I'm saying is these people, this group of Homo sapiens, have just became unglued, where they doing wild stuff as we just seen in the video. I would argue that at some point we must assimilate them within who they are as a person when it comes to how we do business in society, when at the same time making sure they put priority on who they are from a family standpoint. What's that going to take? It's probably going to have to take them to do it. Men can't do it. That's just what it is. I don't look to try to rectify any bad situation from a woman, because as a man, that's not my authority. It's just not. Despite what anybody else would say, whether it be from a religious or a social standpoint, I don't give a damn. I'm saying is only women can fix why they do what they do. It's probably gonna take, if it were me, again, just like I did in the last situation, if it were me, I would pay them no mind. Once the attention is taken away, then you put them back in that isolationist state. Then you can, it's like a dog. You train in a puppy, you put them in the crate. They know not to do certain stuff in the crate. Then when they come out, you tell them to do certain stuff, and eventually you ain't got to put them in the crate no more. So I'm looking at it, and I ain't equating women to dogs, but I'm saying the social aspect, the social engineering has to take place in order to understand what their role is in society. That's what I'll say on that.
Hey, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I wanted to go that direction, but I got caught up in my own nonsense in my head. What did she just say?
So
Trail crazy.
Let me go further. So you're saying bad bitches need to be put in their place. They need to be leashed, right? The bad bitches need to be.
See. I want again. I shouldn't have used the dog example. My bad.
Oh, goddamn.
I should have used the dog example because I knew it was gonna go there. But I'm saying from a social standpoint. Now this is coming from the direction of how y'all take it. I'm not saying I take it that way because I'm an individualist. But what I'm saying is, if we're gonna play that game and we're going to equate certain priorities and directives and regulations of what the structure of society is supposed to be, that's what you must do. I say ignore them. If you don't give them the attention, they have no choice but to become docile.
It'll never happen because bands exist. BANs exist, and they'll do anything to get any sort of coochie. Mm-hmm. That's why I blame men. Because if men would stand up and be like, all men have to do is have boundaries and morals. Yep. If they have boundaries and morals, it would never. It would stop tomorrow, but it won't happen because niggas. I just watched the video of just before I got on, I watched the video of a man and a woman having a conversation about how abusive she is, and this woman giggled and he was like, "Don't you remember? Don't you remember you threw something in my eyes while I was driving and we almost crashed?" She's like, "No, I didn't." And then her baby came over and like, "Yes, you did. You got mad because he got the wrong soda." And she said, "Shut up and go to your room." And all I could think was, she's already corrupted the next generation. Mm-hmm. This little kid sees that and thinks that's normal. That's crazy. Yep. And that's the problem. That dude don't even realize that he should have left her before that kid was born. Men don't have boundaries, and women are told by society that no matter what they do, they'll still be accepted. I bet you right now there's somebody on a date waiting to take that heifer that killed her baby out. Remember that chick who was on trial for killing her baby?
Ooh, Casey Anthony?
Yeah. Guarantee you somebody's waiting on Casey Anthony at the front door for Saturday to take it out to try to get them draws. Because there's men who can get women, then there's men who can't. And men who can't will do any type of simping to sniff some panties, bro. And women know that. Women use them. Women use them for ego boost. Women use them to get they little emotional and their mental rocks off, and then they leave them in the trash where they are. But they think, just like so-and-so said, man, that's why my IG's full. That's why my DMs stay stacked. Yeah, they stay stacked with niggas you don't want. Period, point blank. But I'm a guy. Go ahead. It's your show. Run your show.
Well, real quick, let me say this to your point. I think it's important for us to isolate the incident, because normally we're talking about middle-aged to damn near pre-PMS women, right? They get to a point, again, this goes back to the social dysphoria. They already had their events where they may have had children or was married at one point. All that stuff already happened. Then we get to a point where they feel depleted of any I guess you would say social capital, right? As it pertains to their quote unquote self-worth, right? These women are the most extreme cases of social dysphoria because they played out. So they yearn, they scour social media, scour the dating scene, trying to find any inclination of self-worth. Again, I said yesterday, I believe on Man Talk Monday, men in particular like to keep a cache of self-worth. We want to know in the back of our minds that, you know, we still in the game somewhat. You know what I'm saying? Women, I don't want to say this. I don't think women biologically got the capacity to do that. You know what I'm saying? Women they're more in the physical realm per se, where their social caste has to come from something physical. That's just a fact. Y'all, Trev married, Venkat married, Ricardo married. Y'all know y'all got to keep telling your wife they beautiful and that don't look that bad on you, and whatever the situation. You may be lying, but you'll say it. Why? Because they need that physical attachment to their self-worth. Men don't. You know what I'm saying? And I hate to do this because I'm not this person, y'all. I'm just trying to play a role. I'm not this person.
You just telling the truth. You can speak the facts.
Gotta speak your mind.
I'm not this person. But a man, as long as we know in the back of my mind, yeah, I can pull her. You know what I'm saying? And you may do dry runs.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Put a little game down here and there.
And
but you got that cash. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I can still do this or do that.
I did it on Thanksgiving, just the other Thanksgiving that just passed.
Yeah, you know, women I don't believe had the capacity to do that. Moreover, they don't have the capacity to do it because the way the attraction is with men compared to women are different. We look more in the physical, and us toward women are more in the mental. We need to know.
And that's the other point that I want to bring across. A lot of times women don't understand that a nut is a nut. It's not about I love you. It's I'm just trying to physically get my nut out of me. And once I get my nut, clarity comes into play. It's not about this. It's just the whole. And I think I gotta piggyback on what MD is saying. It's the dysphoria. What was the word you use, MD?
Social dysphoria.
Dysphoria. The social dysphoria is very evident. Again, how are you 40, you know, and not to not motivate
background noise, Trey. Background noise.
Trevor, put your mute on. Put your mute on, Trevor.
Trevor, mute. Yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, not for nothing. There's a lot of like, you know, great, amazing, you know, physically fine 40-year-old women out there that don't resort to the twerking and the nonsense that we see. To me, and Wayne brought up a valid point last night on MTM, where he's like, it comes down to communication. It's always communication. What is it that you're lacking? Like, why are you going out there to shake your ass to try to, you know, bring your panties down at one level or not wear no drawers and then pretend to be sweeping and all this crap? For what? For an 18-year-old to give you attention? He's just gonna dick you down, bust the nut in your face, or probably illustrate. Sorry for most of the listeners that are out there, but I gotta speak, you know, like how men will speak. That's all they're gonna give you, and then like my twin said, they're just gonna move on to the one girl that they never had in college or did have, and then she probably focused on her studies, and then they're gonna meet back together and just leave you behind, and you're still the same old cat lady that's gonna probably end up in a home full of cats. Morning crying about, oh, I never got this, and now I never got married, and I never get experience. It's the same equivalency of what I saw with Aisha. Is that her name? Steph Curry's wife, where she was like, oh, at some points I wish I wasn't married, or and it's like, why even go down that road though? Because you're clearly married to one of the most popular, if well-known NBA players in the entire league, and your instance is to go to, oh, but I'm not getting the attention that I want because I have 4 kids, and so you think the streets is for you at this point? Because when you go to the streets, like whatever Maury, one of the twins, the sister yes, it's sister twins that got divorced from her husband, only to complain afterwards, going, oh, these men's all they want is sex, and all they want is, what did you expect? It's the streets. They're not going to give you nothing else. They're not going to give you this super dick down superhero that they're all looking for, that is so unrealistic. He ain't out there. You're gonna get the regular Joe Schmoes that are out there that literally, if they work, give you that, probably a plumber, maybe a whoever. They're gonna give you only so much. You're gonna end up with whatever you get. It's not like the streets ain't for everybody. You know what I'm saying? So I say all of this to preface all of this to say, it comes down to communication. If you're getting the lack of attention thereof, whether it be with your spouse, with your home, communicate that to them. Don't go on social media just for the notoriety and fame of trying to get attention. How does that help you? It doesn't. It's just going to make that young dude probably get a rub out somewhere. Probably if you get the opportunity to dick you down, he's going to dick you down. And then what? He's going to leave you anyways, unless you probably give him something. And again, not to say that all 40, middle-aged 40-year-olds are like this, because I've seen many that have are astounding in terms of what they're doing. And, shout out to most of those queens that are out there. But it's the twerking thought pockets that we're talking about that have nothing better to deliver or to bring to the table, that just keep doing the nonsense that we're seeing, to twerk in front of a 4-year-old and have him holding his private parts going, okay, I want some of that. That is not, that's not a good look. You know what I'm saying? It's only a preface up to a certain point where you're going to go to and say to yourself, well, yeah, I mean, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? But I see all of that. I digress. But yeah, it overall, it's not a good look, y'all. Like, young women out there that are doing the thought pocket, twerking and all that foolishness at a certain age, y'all need Jesus at that particular point. And I'll leave it at that, because I could go further into this, but I'm going to leave this because we said we love a lot. So I'm going to let other people speak because I'm on the babble. But, do better. That's all I got to say.
Oh man, this shiesty bum. If I didn't know any better, I think this is a I don't want to say. Well, we got Mr. Straight Talk on the panel. Welcome back,
I don't know who Shiesty Bum is. She showed up about a couple of weeks ago, but I love the fact that she does come over because she keep us on our heels. I feel like she just comes to troll Man Talk Monday. But I appreciate the fact that she's here. So I do want to welcome MD. I do want to welcome the real MD for finally admitting who he was and who he's always been. I'm going to just say this one thing and then I got to go. A couple of weeks ago on Man Talk Monday, I made the statements, unlike what I've always said. Men get better with age. Women depreciate in value. It's not an indictment on you. It is what it is. Nobody wants a 50-year-old woman with multiple kids. Because I was on another channel one day and I was talking to an educated woman, so educated and don't have a man, but just so educated and could buy everything and this and that. And I mentioned to the sister, I said, well, at the rate you're going, you'll be the 50-year-old woman with all the cats in the house. Because you alienated yourself from everybody. And that is what you get when you see situations like this. The women that you see doing this are the old women that were once young that alienated every man because he probably didn't make the money that she thought he should have made. And now while he's getting better, because I see Shicey say that you're fat and you're bald headed and blah, 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 blah. We can hit the gym and get that off with no problem. When you guys reach a certain age, that menstrual belly ain't coming off. So like we just, we get better. We like a car. We like a fine car. We just get better the older years. The older cars are the ones that's made better than the new ones. And is you got to be careful when you the woman that's, oh, I'm woman, hear me roar, and now you're lonely. And the only way you could get some type of companionship is you got to twerk in front of the camera at your ripe old age. I will tell you this, and Mike says it all the time. You know, I do agree with Mike when he's right.
And he always is.
Not all the time, but
all the time.
When men are normally just attracted to younger. So you the 40, 45, 50-year-old, 60-year-old that think you're bad and got it going on, not married with all the kids, we're going to look at you for exactly what you are. And that's just a cum depositor. We're always going to want to go younger. And that's just as true as I can say it. I am gone now. They got Openzik. I got to go now. Shout out to Eddie Israel in the building.
Hey, am I on the Man Talk Monday panel now?
Hey, the Man Talk Monday. Hey, the Man Talk Monday panel is kind of full, but you know you always got an open invite. But I always love when Man Talk Monday and TFP could collab. But y'all have to realize that, because I said that a few weeks ago, and the women was, oh no, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? We don't appreciate with age. Let's just look at it. A 50-year-old man with 3 kids, guess what? He could pull a 30-year-old woman. A 50-year-old woman with 3 kids, probably not getting a 40-year-old man. Because we look at you guys as cars. That's how we used to do growing up. I used to rate you guys as cars. We see certain women, we'd be like, hey, rate her up, rate her up. And we'd be like, oh man, she looks like an old Mercedes with 200,000 miles on her. Something like that's how we see you guys. So you gotta be humble. Just be humble. The word of 2025 for the female race should just be humble. Be humble.
See how she argues like Kevin. Humble. You see it? See how she argues like Kevin?
Be humble.
You didn't say nothing about exactly because you love Kendrick, you bum. Get off the damn mic.
Yeah, I'm not even watching Shicey Bum, but yeah, I'm going for real now. I just wanted to say that I had to infuse my hatred on the panel, but I'm going for real now.
Yeah, I'm about to dip.
All right.
Do homework.
All right, so let's go to the next. We're going to start with the transgender in sports.
Oh,
that'll
Lord,
be the next
trying to make me stay. Stop it.
Shit, you trying to make me stay. What's wrong with you, man? I got to go.
Hey,
all right, so stop biting off of me.
Well, yeah. All right, so we're going to get our thoughts on the other end.
At the Portland Interscholastic League Championships, a trans sophomore runner for McDaniel High School finished first in both the girls' 200-meter and the 400-meter. You can see the athlete speeding by their competition here. The athlete, formerly a male, is allowed to compete under the OSAA rules as a girl and will compete this weekend at state. They have the top 200-meter time in the state and the third best time in the 400-meter. Neither time would have made the podium on the boys' side.
The co-captain of the Spartans is suing her coach and others to try to prevent a transgender teammate from playing in an upcoming tournament.
2 top women's volleyball teams in the Mountain West Conference battling it out. Number 2, San Jose State in the blue jersey, hosting number 1, Colorado State in white. Some spectators, like this mother and daughter, attending the game for the first time, intrigued by the controversy surrounding a transgender player on the San Jose team.
Everything about the physicality of a male is just so much different from women that I don't think there's any way to undo that.
The daughter plays competitive team volleyball, and they wanted to see if the transgender player has any physical advantages over her peers.
I definitely think it's unfair, they have a really high vertical, and that's already like a big difference for the rest of us.
But women's volleyball is 8 inches lower than a man's volleyball net. So, you combine the vertical ability of males and the lower net of a women's volleyball net, and it's quite dangerous and very unfair, I think.
That's the main argument in the latest lawsuit. In fact, the co-captain on the San Jose State team, number 10, Brooke Slesher, and several others are suing her own coach, Todd Kress, other school officials, and the Mountain West Conference to prevent the transgender teammate from playing in the upcoming conference championship tournament. San Jose State declined to comment on a lawsuit. They did not allow the media to speak to the coach and players on Saturday. But Slasher and her transgender teammate continue to play on the court, but have very little interaction.
They keep it really professional on the court, and that's what matters. The situation at large is just really sad, and I'm sure it is probably tearing their relationships apart.
This thought that a man has just walked on the court to play volleyball and beat up women, and that is just not the case.
Helen Carroll is not associated with San Jose State, but previously worked as a coach and athletic director at other colleges. She's been working for years to support transgender student athletes, and Carroll knows the San Jose player.
The player suppresses testosterone, has less testosterone than her teammates, takes lots of estrogen, where she has to work out even twice as hard as some of her other teammates to keep muscle mass.
Due to safety and privacy concerns, we're not naming the transgender player since she has not come out publicly. Some fellow students say they came to support her.
I myself is trans, so this is an issue that I connect with a lot, but we're here to support the team at large.
The issue has gotten national attention since 4 teams have forfeited games and refused to play against San Jose State. It adds to the ongoing debate, should trans players be allowed to play in women's sports? This mother says she has a gay brother and supports the LGBTQ community. But for her, this isn't about inclusion. She says it's about fairness and player safety.
Let's talk about how we are going to protect our women and girls. And I would appreciate if we can have video of some examples how our girls can actually got hurt. So I want us not to be enforcing, but preventing the situation like that where girls actually get hurt by males, biological males playing sports. I mean, it is really unbelievable for me that this is an issue that we cannot stand with women and girls on, because it is so hard. As I said, it makes us much tougher, maybe mentally, and a lot of us are for that reason. But let's just be honest. Boys, natural biological boys have advantage, have a differently advantage against women playing sports. Let's recognize and be honest about that.
We could not understand any of the film that you saw. There was no names or no designation. I saw humanity. I saw girls enjoying sports, but I couldn't understand what it was. The opponent of the bill needs to say how this bill fixes anything that you've just spoken about.
Well, this is where you saw the examples where transgender boys, transgender girls in this case, are playing, transgender athletes were playing against naturally born girls on the same teams, on opposing teams, and girls got hurt.
And at the White House today, President Trump before the cameras and a cheering crowd in the East Room, signing an executive order banning transgender women and girls from competing in women's sports.
With this executive order, the war on women's sports is over.
Trump made this a key issue on the campaign trail, running campaign ads in battleground states. Trans athletes are already barred from participating in sports at K-12 schools or colleges in more than 24 states. The head of the NCAA said of the approximately 510,000 college athletes in this country, fewer than 10 are known to be transgender. And tonight, advocacy groups fear this move will only lead to more discrimination and harassment. Surrounded by female coaches and athletes, the president telling schools they will risk losing federal funding if they do not comply.
With my action this afternoon, we're putting every school receiving taxpayer dollars on notice that if you let men take over women's sports teams or invade your locker rooms, you will be investigated for violations of Title IX and risk your federal funding. Under the Trump administration, we will defend the proud tradition of female athletes, and we will not allow men to beat up, injure, and cheat our women and our girls. From now on, women's sports will be only for women.
Just one day after President Trump signed an executive order banning biological males from playing in women's sports,
You've been waiting a long time for this.
the NCAA barred transgender women from competing in women's college athletics.
The president's executive order has put tremendous public pressure on private organizations.
NCAA President Charlie Baker releasing a statement writing, President Trump's order provides a clear national standard. The move upsetting many in the trans community, like Schuler Baylor, the first openly transgender NCAA Division I swimmer.
This decision is cowardly, despicable, and crushes so many young athletes' dreams.
The U.S. Department of Education now investigating Title IX violations in athletics at San Jose State University, the Massachusetts Interscholastic Athletic Association, and the University of Pennsylvania. Meanwhile, 3 former UPenn swimmers on the team with transgender athlete Leah Thomas now suing the NCAA, UPenn, and the Ivy League to have Thomas's collegiate records wiped off the books. Thomas set several Ivy League women's swim records and won a D1 national championship in 2022.
I do think that there is going to be change and people are going to feel more comfortable speaking out and doing what is right and just making sure that the little girls who are coming up behind us are not left behind.
Critics argue data does not show transgender athletes have any advantage and that this pushback is unfair to the trans community.
There's no evidence that trans athletes have an advantage over anyone else in sports. Trans athletes play sports for the same reasons as anybody else, for our love of the game, to be a part of a team, to challenge ourselves.
A New York Times Ipsos poll from January found 79% of Americans do not believe transgender athletes should be allowed to compete in women's sports. Donald Trump now pressuring the International Olympic Committee to ban transgender athletes ahead of the 2028 Los Angeles Games.
All right, there we go. So we're gonna lead off here with Mr. MD20.
Let me say one thing, then I'm gonna jump off the show. I just
All
want to say
right.
one thing. I'm sorry, MD. Two things. One, I hate when people make me agree with Trump. Like it just it hurts. It hurts a part of my soul. Like it hurts.
It
And
hurts.
two, my Secretary of Defense has spoken. Bones, I ride with you, my G. They need to start. They say they're their own. They say they're a new gender, right? They're a new gender. So do your own league. Get your own stuff. Have your own stuff. I'm not mad at that because I don't care how much testosterone blocking you do. If you're already a teenager, you already got the gains. It's too late. You can't take away the muscles. They already came through puberty. Now all you're doing is trying to hold them down, but a woman will never meet that match. It's madness. Why do you have me and Shiesty Bum agreeing? Like, I don't like that. So because of that, I'm leaving the show. It's disgusting me. I feel dirty. I'm going to go take a shower. Holla at your boy.
All right, thanks, Mike. All right, MD.
MD, I can't hear you.
MD, you here? It looks like MD froze. He's just staring.
Froze. Trump got
Look at his eyes. What the hell is going on here? Is he frozen? Okay. Oh man! All right, Ricardo. I guess MD will come back later.
Yeah, I hate to say this, man. And I'm never on Trump's side. Never. Like, there's been instances where I agree with him, and it's very rare. But this is one of those moments where I have to join Trump on this. I'm sorry, but no. Maybe because I have 3 daughters, that I might have a biased stance on this, but I've seen situations where I can't. It, to me, no. Nothing against the people in the alphabet community, because I y'all have moments where you guys need to prove a point and all of that. With that being stated, though, when it comes to women's sports, you do have an unfair advantage, and I hate to say it, but it's true. When you have a male as now a transformed female, when you're playing against a natural born female, you do get an unfair advantage because, one, you now either have the speed, the agility, the format of a male bodied figure advantage against the one female. So it's a problem where you're gonna see instances where you're gonna if you're playing in track and field, you're gonna run faster. If you're in swim, you're gonna swim faster. If you're in basketball, you're gonna do better in terms of shooting hoops and jumping. And there's certain unfair advantages that takes place. And how is that fair to the females when you start doing injury and all of that stuff? Then it becomes a meticulous problem where you have to now navigate and go, okay, well, you kick the opponent, so when they're injured and they can't play anymore, you proceed forward, you progress forward, but that person stays injured. It's a whole segment. So to me, it's a long time coming, and and this is where you always hear me say the Democratic Party made this run too long. It was one of those things where I knew, and you see the polls, literally 80% of people in this country agree they should not be playing with natural born females. Form your own league. If you want to prove a point that much, go create your own league, call it whatever you want to call it, and then compete against each other. There's no need for you to be going to sport where a female is
I'm sorry, Ricardo, but I can't.
You're alive, MD, because
that episode, my God.
MD, it was one of those things where we're like, oh my God, your eyes went wide open. We're like, blink one time, MD, if you're okay. Did you need one of us to come rescue? But yeah, no. But yeah, transforming women or men that now want to be women, do your own sport league, whatever you want to call it, but don't go into a women's sport. Besides, most men don't want to watch you play anyways. We don't want to see you. We go to see volleyball, we go to see certain sports because we love the beauty and the mystique of seeing a natural born woman's body anyways. So when you show up, it's kind of it's just no. It's a no. So you hate me all you want, come after me, I don't give a damn, but 80% of the population agree with me, and we're not going to change our stance. Just like you're not going to see me change my stance in terms of men going into the bathroom with my daughter. No, I don't care what you want to call yourself. You're not allowed to go in the bathroom with my daughters. It's a hell no. You need to be in your own specific section or bathroom. Go there. Don't come into the bathroom with my daughters. It's the same exact sentiments I share. But when it comes to this, because I'm not going to go in the whole babble, stay in your own league. Women, natural born women, need to play their own sports, and you stay in your transforming league, whatever you want to call it, and play and compete with each other. I blame mostly women for this coming about because remember when y'all decide to include everybody in this whole foray of, oh yes, you go this and that. When you do this, you invite this kind of nonsense into the notion that you guys can't have your cake and want to eat it too. So this is what happens when y'all allow this to fester. And the women, certain women, you know who I'm talking to because y'all are out there. When you encourage this kind of nonsense, this is what's going to happen, where they're going to feel free now to then say, oh, but you're cisgendered and all this foolishness and all these words and vocabulary. No one gives a damn whether you identify as a he, she, him, her, whatever. Nobody got time for that. If you look like a female, we're going to call you a female. If you look like a male, we're going to call you a male. And it is what it is. This country has gone far too much with the nonsense and the narrative. It's now to get back to how it was. And that's just how it is. I hate to say it, but I agree with Trump. And this is one or the only time you ever hear me say I'm going to agree with this man. But I agree with him wholeheartedly. And y'all could come for me all you want. But I ain't going to change my stance. So booyaka, outwards I go. So somebody takes the mic for me.
Hey, Mike, my God, you need an award for that damn avatar. That was high level stuff, man. My God, I almost died. I had to put the mute on. I'm coughing and dying in the background.
Is that the last thing? My bad. My mobile hotspot died on me. Was that the
Bro,
last thing? I don't know.
you
Yeah,
froze like that.
just
open there.
Oh my! I was like, is Lotto outside his window?
We
Like,
thought
what's happening?
got you. The Megamaniacs got you.
How the hell you got that picture so quick, Mike? My God.
Hey, your boy ain't no joke, bro. I'm out here, bro. I'm ready for all things.
It's all good, man. It's all good.
MD kills.
Yo, the best thing in the world is hearing Venkat trying to hold it back, man. I was dying.
Yeah, Venkat.
I just wanted to show I just want to show my avatar off. I'm out.
All right. All right, MD, your turn on this.
All right, so I don't agree with transgender females in sports. I just don't agree with it. Not for the sake of anything like social. It's just scientifically not right.
Facts.
There's been no studies showing that no amount of puberty blockers or whatever the situation may be causes any type of parity when it comes to them being in female sport. It just don't. You know what I mean? You're not gonna be able to pull it up. And this is one of the problems that the Democrats face. They use stuff like this as a spear
and a crutch
for a lot of their strategy, and it's just not going to work.
And it doesn't work. Yep, 80% agree with what we're saying here, MD. So it goes to prove a point. We're not lying. It's just one of those things.
Well, I would disagree with that. I don't think that it's a point of contention as far as people disagreeing with it. I think a lot of people just don't find it feasible to be a strategy in the Democratic Party, and they shouldn't. How many just NCAA alone? How many transgender athletes are there? 11. Who gives a damn? You know what I'm saying? We don't want you spearheading a strategy based on 11 transgender people in the NCAA. We don't give a damn. That's what I'm telling you. It's meaningless.
Yeah, they're making that an issue for such a low amount of people. It's like ridiculous. This is not an issue.
It's not an issue, Venkat. You're 100% right. Now, again, I disagree with it wholeheartedly. The science is not there to prove that the medications and the therapy that they go through get them down to a low enough level athletically to be able to compete with women. The science is just not there. Now, if you can get the science there and can prove it, maybe I'll change my mind. I'm that type of person. Maybe. But as of right now, it's simply not there. It's just not. And going back to the last point, we talked about social. Yeah, right.
No, go ahead, MD. I'm sorry.
It broke up on my end. Yeah, it broke up on my end. I thought you were still talking. So yeah, you're absolutely right though, Venkat. And in the last segment, I talked about social dysphoria. This whole notion of gender dysphoria, that's pseudo, man. That don't exist. I'm supposed to be acceptive of you to do whatever the hell you want to do, because if I don't do it, you may go into a deep state of depression and harm yourself. What the hell they got to do with me? That's crazy. You ain't doing that for the hundreds of thousands of people that's on the street right now. You ain't doing that for the people that's drug addicts and going through deep states of depression based on whatever situation. If the government has the ability to reconcile something based off of a mental, I guess you would say, event or traumatic event, hell, where my reparations at? I've been traumatized for over 400 years. Where's my damn money at? Help me out.
Yep.
So again, this is the problem with the lefty loonies. They play identity politics. They do things because they believe that this is the the ultimate factor when it comes to equality, and it's not. It's simply not the case. They would rather manufacture equality than to look it dead in the eye and rectify it. That's why I don't rock with the progressives, the faux progressives. I can't do it based off stuff like this. Meaningless. Now to Ricardo's point, because he said, like he just ready to off somebody if they go in the bathroom. If legislation comes down and it's written in the law, what you gonna do about it then? I'm not saying that makes it acceptable. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is we have to be careful in terms of how we view certain people in politics and hold their feet to the fire to the things that matter. This transgender issue does not matter. It just don't. And this is part of the problem while we looking hell in the handbasket dead in the face today. That's just a fact. I don't know what else to say about it. I just don't. You just saw that video. You just saw it. Women are getting manhandled out on fields and courts and all sorts of planes of
sports. They look like the Wayans brothers in white chicks, just all big and buffed up looking. I mean, it's weird.
Like, this is crazy. You expect me to accept if I got a little girl and she playing volleyball and it's a nigga on the court 6'2", talking about he a girl, and they got him playing up court, blocking and spiking, and I just supposed to go. I supposed to rock with that. That's crazy as hell. How where how far?
I just don't know who gets. I don't know who gets the joy. Advantage celebrating a win, like it's so illegitimate. It's a weird thing.
It doesn't make sense, and this is the stuff that we got. You know, people like to. Oh, Ricardo fell off. People like to ridicule centrists like myself, saying that we don't prioritize stuff like this. Why would I do this? Why? You know what I mean? There is a certain amount of moderates that need to look at leftist ideals. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. But some of the stuff that y'all champion is crazy, man. It's crazy. And this is supposed to be the side of politics that sets their foundation on stuff like science and logic and reason. What the hell? Like, what's going on? It's either you got an extreme right or you got an extreme left. And the people that are being ostracized are people like me, the centrists. So it's crazy.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, MD. So we got Mr. Straight Talk back on the panel. What's going on, Trevor?
Oh man, I didn't want to have to come back up here, but now I mean you know how to go into my wheelhouse. So I will say this. I'm glad that MD did bring up the number of 11. I thought it was 10, so I'll go with your number. But like the argument I've been having with Mike all day, you can't tell us what we should care about or what we should like or what we shouldn't dislike or what's not an issue. If you ever seen the movie Men of Honor, the guy that didn't want Cuba Gooding Jr. to pass the test said all it takes is like a teaspoon of machine oil to ruin a whole drinking supply for a submarine. The Bible tell you that a little leaven spoiling the entire lump. So you can't tell us who, and a lot of this too is because y'all don't have little girls. So when I hear Ricardo talk and then when I hear MD talk, I'm like, okay, this is, and I know MD like to bring everything had to be law, blah, blah, blah. But when I hear Ricardo talk, I could sympathize. I could agree more with Ricardo because Ricardo has 3 girls and MD's sons will never be in a position where somebody of the opposite gender is going to dominate them on the field that they don't belong in. But guess who will be
tell Cruz that.
Guess who will be in that position? Me and Ricardo. We have little girls that we're raising that someday may want to play sports, and they got to wonder why, like MD says, some 6'2" niggas on the field spiking the damn ball at them. That's not fair. That's not fair. And to the issue about, what if they make it a law that the men could go in the bathroom, hey, then thank God Trump ain't gonna allow that to happen, because you can't give up what's morally right just because you don't agree with who's making the law. And I'm not saying y'all, well, I'm partially saying y'all doing that, but not in the totality. But if I always said on this show, I always say, because this show always get accused for just being one way, but I always say hot and cold water could come out of the same faucet. You could agree with some things and you could disagree with other things. When it comes to this, I wholeheartedly agree with what he's doing. And the only thing I will say, I didn't need him to sign an executive order to say that there's two genders. We already know there's two genders. You know how? Because God said it was two genders, male and female. So that settles it. We don't have to, we didn't need him to go do a dog and pony show to do that. But when he's standing firm and saying, hey, you're not having a man play in a female sport. But I do agree with Ricardo. It's partially funny because the women are the ones that voted for this, that allowed this. Y'all was championing. I can never say that word. Championing all inclusivity until it started affecting you. Until Fallon Fox got in line and beat the shit out of a female MMA fighter, because guess what? She's still a man. I don't give a damn if I'm talking about she. I don't care if he you could put lipstick on a pig and it's still a damn pig. It's still a pig. You could dress up shit, you could do whatever you want to do, but at the end of the day, it's still shit. If y'all want to have your own division, create your own stuff. Don't say that, oh, I feel like I'm a woman, therefore I can't compete in the men's sports, but then you know you're not a woman and now you want to go compete in the women's sports. No, compete against your own kind. Compete against your own kind. Hey, I agree with an MD about the whole dysphoria thing. Listen, you do whatever you want to do. If you want to be a duck, be a duck. I know we're going to get to the lame duck soon. You want to be a duck, then be a duck. But don't tell me that I have to agree with I have to agree with it, and I have to be okay with you trying to get into the sport. It's bad enough that women are already in a position where they don't have it easy. But now you're gonna be like, oh man, they're starting this flag football now for women. I see the NFL is pushing for that big time now, and it's probably going to be a thing. Now I could bet you anything. Some boy that can't play tackle football like a man that he is now going to be like, oh man, let me put on some flags and go out there with the women. Bullshit. Get your little bitch ass on the football field, put on some pads, and line up in an Oklahoma drill. Quit trying to do things that women do just because you can't cut it as a man. I'm tired of this shit. And I don't give a damn. Hey, I will go in my settings right now and make this video 18 years old, because I'm tired of all this bullshit. Every time us straight men always have to toe the company line and just be like, oh man, well, let's be inclusive to everybody. Screw that inclusive shit. MD said it best. For 400 years, he been waiting for reparations. Y'all ain't gave him that, but you made every damn law to protect every other thing in this world except for the niggas. Except for the niggas. The niggas, the only people can't be protected. But you could protect everything else. You could allow Johnny, who got a fucking full beard bigger than mine, just because he decided he wanted to be a woman for the day, he allowed to go be in women's sports. And I'm telling you, if I go anywhere and they're trying to do it at the Targets here where I live, hey, Target F you big time. If I go somewhere and a man tries to go in the bathroom with my wife and my daughter and says that he identifies that way, then you, sir, will get these hands. For real, for real. I don't play like that. I don't play like that. There's a man's bathroom and there's a woman's bathroom for a reason. Stop always trying to see where you could push things. It's stupid. You weren't made that way. You weren't made that way. And it's time out for people. Oh man, it's time out for people to stop. It's time out for people to stop accepting everything. This country is so full of shit. That's why it's going to hell in a handbag, because y'all done completely got rid of God. Y'all done completely pushed the law, statutes, and commandments
Welcome to hell, motherfucker!
Nigga don't know. Venkat can't read the room. But
he was cooking, man.
Yeah,
that's
Venkat
right.
don't know how to read the room. It's all good, but that won't stop me from cooking. Because the bottom line is this: this nation forgot about God, and that's why we're in the situation that we are now. I don't care if it's 10. I don't care if it's 10 million. It's still too much. Keep men's sports to what men's sports should be, and keep women's sports to what women's sports should be. You don't see, and that's what it is. Because what we would consider, Jordan Grace is probably the strongest woman in wrestling right now. I bet you any one of us on this panel.
Everybody want to be a nigga, but nobody want to be a nigga. How about that question?
I bet you nobody on this panel wouldn't square up with Jordan Grace and beat the hell out of her. You know why? Because we're men. We're genetically Hey, he don't know how to read the room.
Now hold on, wait a minute, Trip. Jordan Grace did have a few. What's the chick Scott Demore girlfriend? What's the chick? Man, what's her name?
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, the trend. Yeah, but hey, I thought we was at camp, man. I thought I had to put my damn fringes on for a minute.
I still know how to get the people hyped up, man. But like I said,
I'm gonna start calling you Captain Trevor. Captain Trevor. That's right.
Texas politics don't appreciate what Mr. Straight Talker brings. So I'll save this for Man Talk Monday. Again, I'm out of here.
Real quick, Trey, before you go, real quick. I want to ask you, this is off topic. With Trump's tariffs on steel and aluminum, how that gonna affect y'all?
Yep,
I'm scared. I gotta have a meeting. I gotta have a meeting with the ownership tomorrow because I'm not.
So now he has to hold his ass.
I want to see what our business is gonna look like in that because we're only 2 months in the year and we're damn near on pace to crush what we did all of last year. So I'm very interested to see what's going to happen here because I know it's going to affect the steel mills because we don't necessarily buy from China direct, but it does affect us because some of our material does come from China. So we do have a meeting tomorrow.
Not to get in your business, Trail. Just give me a company. Give me a company that do y'all get steel from, like, I don't know, let's say Nucor. Do y'all get steel from them?
We get steel from like Steel Technologies.
Steel, I know them.
Ken Mac Metals, Laughing Dickey, Miami Valley Steel, ThyssenKrupp. We get steel from all over.
Oh yeah, ThyssenKrupp. Now I know for a fact ThyssenKrupp gets they steel imported. I know that for a fact.
ThyssenKrupp is our biggest supplier.
Yeah, that's a national company. I know. I done haul with them. They definitely get their stuff from overseas. So we'll see. I just wanted to put that in your ear.
Oh, trust me, I know. We've already talked about it.
Trevor, you got your handbasket ready?
But I'm gone, man. I'm gone because TFP don't appreciate the greatness that is me, man.
Wait a minute, what do you mean? What do you mean?
I'm cooking and this man just playing long ass sound bites and stuff. Like, come on, man. you got some. Hey, I always say this on Man Talk Monday when Mike is preaching. I end the show because sometimes when my pastor always taught me, don't ever try to come after somebody that's preaching. Just end the show. And when a man cooking, you gotta let him cook. But I'm out of here, man. Hey, man, y'all.
This is not fear. I should not be put to them indignancies.
Well, he's all mad. Come on, Trevor.
Hey, real quick, I did want to ask a question before we move on. So hypothetically speaking, this for both of y'all. Hypothetically speaking, if they were to perfect the engineering of the formula or whatever as it pertains to puberty blockers, right? Let's say they perfect the formula, they got it down to where physically, with beyond a shadow of a doubt, this person that's prepubescent, right, literally transforms biologically from a man to a woman in every sense. Bone density, muscle mass, you name it. You know what I'm saying? If they perfect it, I don't care if it's 100 years down the line. Would you then accept all facets of the strategy of transgender equality in all aspects of society? Venkat, you first.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
You
I don't
wouldn't
think
do
so
it.
at all. I think once you alter it, that's a different thing altogether. I don't think that you could just say it's good. You just naturally weren't from day one. I think they're right. Ricardo and Bones and them about creating your own league, but there probably isn't sufficient enough people to do that. But
it's not.
I don't
It's
know.
not.
I just don't think that it could change. Yeah, I mean, right now at least. In the future, maybe, but not right now. But yeah, I don't think once you have any kind of alteration, that your warranty is void at that point. You can't do anything with that.
But remember, I said prepubescent, right? So the factors, yeah, the factors that make you a man ain't there yet. I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just hypothetical.
Yeah, it would still be a no for me. Ricardo, what about you?
I think I already know what Ricardo gonna say.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, but no, it's. I'm trying to be, because somebody just send me a thing where they said I was very insensitive. It's not that I'm being insensitive. It's just I think people are like myself are sick and tired of this whole foolishness where after a while it just gets too much, because now at work you can't say certain vocabulary anymore. You can't say certain things anymore because it's gonna upset the masses. So you can't say ladies, for instance, one of the things that is big in terms of when I'm at work, you can't say ladies and gentlemen anymore because apparently that's too offensive. Or you can't say madame or sir anymore. So then what do you...
Yeah, that's crazy.
After a while, it's like people get tired of this foolishness where, oh, but I don't identify as this. I identify as him, sirs, her. It's too much. So it's either you identify as a man or female. A male or female. It's either or. We don't got time to be, oh, but I'm a man, but I identify as poster and this. It's too much after a while. It gets very annoying and too much logistics that you have to navigate through, and I'm going to be offensive to this person and I'm going to come up and complain. Nobody got time for that. If you're on board an aircraft or you're on board of this and you're saying ladies and gentlemen, you know exactly what we're talking about. We don't got time to be like, oh, but that's offensive to me because I'm a him, her, she said, who, how, what. Nobody got time for that. It gets to a point where the American public now is going to say, you know what, gender is male or female. It just is what it is. And again, I blame the Democratic Party for going along with this notion for so long, where they push this narrative where they're like, oh, we're going to include everybody under the same umbrella. It's like, how do you then say that somebody who is in the alphabet community identify as somebody who is black? And then you're going to say, oh, but we go through the same strife and all. Yeah, no. There's a difference between people, being prejudiced against skin color or against somebody because of their race or because of where, you know what I mean? Like, there's a difference with that. With sexual orientation and all of that, there's a complete difference with that too. So then you have to know how to devise or try to narrow down to the very finest or fine minute point to then get that presentable. It's too much. The American public is having too much to deal with when it comes. I'm too offended. Everybody's offended these days. It gets so annoying to me now where I'm like, I can't say this. I got to tiptoe. I can't do it. Like and you guys must agree with me. At certain points, you're just gonna be like, F it. You're not a this. You're this, or you're not a that. Like, no, we're just gonna say you're male or you're female. It's getting to like when Mad TV used to have Miss Kwan and she's like, you looking like a man. If you look like a man, you're a man. If you look like a female, you're female. We're just going to say what it is. We're going to say exactly what it is that it's there. And it's
not if you in Atlanta, you don't.
well, that's Atlanta. But I'm just saying, you know what I mean?
You'll get a rude awakening. You come to Atlanta, Hey,
I
you
know.
get something you don't want to get.
Trust me, I know. Then the same thing goes for Thailand. So, it is what it is.
All right. So let's go to the next one. This is the bathroom debate for the transgender community. So let's take a look at this video and we'll have our thoughts on the other end.
Coming from a party that can't define what a woman is and won't give women the right to privacy. You all want men with penises, chicks with in the bathroom with us. You want women to be forced to undress in front of men in the locker room and in dressing rooms. And it's so hypocritical for you to sit here and say and be, screaming from the rooftops about the right to privacy and civil rights when you don't respect women.
There's a level of vulgarity there.
USAID awarded $2 million to strengthen trans-led organizations to deliver gender-affirming health care in Guatemala. So to each of you this morning, does this advance the interests of American citizens paying for in Guatemala to the tune of $2 million? Yes or no? Governor?
Mr. Chairman, parliamentary inquiry.
Yes, sir.
The gentlelady has used a phrase that is considered a slur in the LGBTQ community and the transgender community. And let me please finish without interruption. And
I don't really care. You want penises in women's bathrooms, and I'm not going to have it.
Okay.
No, thank you.
It's
disgusting.
Let the gentleman state his parliamentary inquiry.
And I would just ask the chairman that she be counseled that we ought not to be engaged. We can have debate and policy discussion without offending human beings who are fellow citizens.
Mr. Chairman, I'm not going to be counseled by a man over men and women's spaces or men who have mental health issues dressing as women. I'm not being counseled by some guy.
My inquiry is to the
Okay.
chairman,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Order. The inquiry is about decorum. Decorum is at the discretion of the chair.
That's
I will be
mansplaining,
honest,
Mr. Chairman.
with the ranking member. I'm not up to date on my politically correct LGBTQ terminology. We'll look into that.
This is only the start, and I'm not going to stop. They are threatening to kill me over this. Men that want to use women's restrooms are threatening to kill me over this issue. Good luck. I was the first woman to graduate from the Citadel, the Military College of South Carolina, and if we haven't met yet, I want all the bullies online to know you will not bully me into submission. I can't be threatened. You can't threaten my life enough. That means I'm just going to double and triple, quadruple down on this issue because I'm a girl mom. No, I have said it's a result of this. I'm not going to allow biological men into women's private spaces. I will stand in the brink and stand in the way of anyone on the radical left who thinks that it's okay for a penis to be in a women's locker room or a bathroom or a changing room. Hell no. I am not going to stand for it. And the speaker said it would be in the House rules package. If it's not, I'll be ready with a motion, a privileged motion to force a vote on this. This is not okay. I'm a survivor of rape. I'm a survivor of sexual abuse. And I'm not going to allow any man in any female private spaces.
Now, Speaker.
End of story. And by the way, I'm getting death threats from men pretending to be women. Why is it that these crazy people, the insanity, the radical left, are willing to kill women over a man's right to be in a women's restroom?
Hey, do me a favor. Let's take a look at Congresswoman McBride or Congressman McBride, whatever. I sometimes I slip. I don't mean to slip. Take a look at this individual. The thing that, I don't know if you know this, but I think the political career of this individual is all about being transgender. Take a look at what she said at the Democrat National Convention. She invited to speak there at the age of 24 for no apparent reason other than the transgender stuff. Take a look.
4 years ago, I came out as transgender while serving as student body president in college. At the time, I was scared. I worried that my dreams and my identity were mutually exclusive. Since then, though, I've seen that change is possible. I witnessed history interning at the White House and helping my home state of Delaware pass protections for transgender people.
Just eating up the applause. You became famous basically by being the first woman at the Citadel, right? First female graduate. How do you feel about her rise to this kind of prominence. Being a member of Congress is a big deal, and I can't see any other accomplishment other than being a transgender.
Well, I've broken many glass ceilings. As you said, I was the first woman to graduate from the Citadel, the Military College of South Carolina. I'm the first Republican woman ever elected to Congress from the great state of South Carolina. It is offensive that a man in a skirt thinks that he's my equal, like that his challenges are the same as mine. They're not. And he's forcing his genitals into women's restrooms, into dressing rooms, into locker rooms. It's sick. It's twisted. And here you showed that clip, the left celebrating mental illness. That's what they're doing. And it's crazy. And that's why one of the many reasons that Kamala lost this election. They haven't learned a thing. Hakeem Jeffries this week called me a bully for being a groundbreaker, being a feminist, protecting women and girls everywhere across the country. I'm the bully. And yet these transgender people are threatening to kill me because they think because they have a penis, they have the right to force their penis into our restrooms. No, it's sick. It's gross.
A House Oversight Committee hearing was briefly derailed yesterday after Representative Jasmine Crockett's criticism of Nancy Mace's fixation on anti-trans messaging led to this extraordinary moment.
I can see that somebody's campaign coffers really are struggling right now. So she gonna keep saying trans so that people will feel threatened. And child, listen, I want y'all to tell me whether or
Do not call me a child. I am no child.
I want
Don't
to
even
find
start.
out
I am a grown
which
woman.
of those
I am 47 years
emails
old. I have broken
actually
more
have
glass ceilings than you
Chairman,
ever
I
will.
am reclaiming my time.
You will not do that. I am not a child.
I am reclaiming my time.
If you want to take it outside,
Mr. Chairman.
Republican Chair James Comer ultimately ruled that threatening another member is okay as long as it's in the form of a question or if, it's Republicans doing it. Also, if you needed any further confirmation that Nancy Mace lives a homogeneous lifestyle, Representative Crockett said child, not child. Nancy Mace is from South Carolina, America's OG slave market, which to this day is composed of 1/3 Black people. So, you'd think she'd be passingly familiar with the term. A point Congresswoman Crockett underscored by tweeting the lone word after the exchange. And Congresswoman Crockett joins me now. Congresswoman, there's a thing that the young folks call clout chasing.
Oh, absolutely.
Let me show you the pinned tweet on Nancy Mace's Twitter right now. Here's 2 tweets. One, I am no child. I'm going the FUCK off. So cussing, threatening you. What is happening here?
Listen, I don't really know what to say of Donald Trump's party because it's not the Republican Party. And for anyone who considers themselves to be a Republican, then I ask you, if you are someone that believes in small government, if you are someone who believes in family values, if you are someone who believes in law and order, there is nothing about the people that still have an R in front of their name that lines up with that. People play on the fact that they can make money. I literally had my team look up her FEC documents because in my soul, I was like, you must be broke. She's not exactly broke, but I have 3 times as much money on hand. She needs some more money. So this was about money. And the idea that you would do it at the expense of children or the idea that you would do it at the expense of one of your colleagues is a problem. And the fact that you would go so far as to try to threaten violence and then hide behind the fact that they don't believe in law and order and then want to play with me because she knew that I was about to go in on her. And she thought that maybe she was going to end up with a B6 moment like her friend Marjorie. And ultimately she kind of did because people are asking for the T-shirts and we going to help them out.
All right. There we go. So, first thing I want to say is, Nancy, the lady that people in the chat seem to have an infatuation with, she's one of the most illegitimate politicians that you could see. She creates fake narratives, fake outrage, fake this. Well, you guys just drinking the Kool-Aid on what she's doing. And if you can't see what she's doing, you probably wasn't paying attention long enough to see it. But we're gonna go to Ricardo on this one. Ricardo, what do you think here about the bathroom fight, transgender against women?
All right. So like I said, from the position of, and it's not nothing in regards to nothing against the alphabet community, none of that with the Transformers and all of that. My concern is when you have, what do you want to call them, gender confused or whatever you want to call, people of transformity or whatever you want to call it. My concern is when my daughters who are, coming of age go into a bathroom and this man, or transformer or woman or whatever they want to identify themselves as based on pronouns, barges into a bathroom with them. What am I supposed to do? Then go, oh, I'm comfortable and whoa, go ahead, because no, I'm going to tell you straight up, flat out, either you get out or I'm going to wait until you're done and then my daughters can go in. In no way, shape or form are you able, you should be allowed to go into the bathroom with my children or my wife. There's no way. It just, for whatever the reason, I'm just not comfortable with that notion, and it doesn't fly with me. And I'm sorry, it might offend some people, but a lot of people would agree with me. With that being stated, though, if there should be a space created to allow, maybe it might be now the time to probably incorporate having 3 bathrooms if it's that much of an issue where Transformers need to have their own bathroom to go into. That's fine by me. Whoever wanted to create a 3rd bathroom and make them have their own space, allow them to. But there's no way you should be using the bathroom. It's all about, for me, the safety and the security aspect of it when it comes to, because then what happens when my daughter then asks me, okay, well, Daddy, why is this person that clearly looks like a man but dressed in the form of a woman is in the bathroom? She's not going to be comfortable because she's of the age where she's smart enough to know, okay, well, no, this doesn't make sense. So she's going to literally, fly out the hoop of like going, okay, Daddy, no, I'm not. She's going to literally flat out tell me, no, she's not comfortable. So there's a whole thing, that sequence that goes into this where it's like, now is the time where if we all need to form a discussion on this where we're saying, okay, well, y'all feel, the need to be inclusive and all of this, then let's create a bathroom for you to go in. I mean, there's family bathrooms now. Am I incorrect on this? Where there's certain places you go in where you have the male bathroom, you have the female bathroom, then there's the family bathroom or whatever you want to call it.
Some call it unisex.
Whatever you want to call it. They have a bathroom option. Go there if you need to. I just don't see the need where you feel the need to prove a point because I'm a trans person and I should be in the female bathroom because I identify as a female. No, it's absurd. It's beyond crazy, the narrative that people will go with just to prove a point. Whatever point you're trying to prove, some people don't care. It's just, for me, and I could only speak for myself, maybe other people will say, probably the same thing or probably the opposite. I just don't feel comfortable when my 6-year-old goes into a bathroom and then see a person that's dressed, for whatever the way, a male buff and dressed up in female clothing and attire and what, they just feel the need to be all comfortable to walk in the bathroom. No, sir, you wait until she's done, or you go use another facility, or I'll let you go in, and then once you're done, finish doing what you need to do and handling your business, then my daughter could go in. In no way, shape, or form should you even feel the need to be like, oh, I'm gonna go in there right behind. No, it doesn't work like that. And if you think you're that bold to do so, best believe the hands will catch you, or my machete will catch you, or worse. But you're not gonna do that. I'm sorry, but most people feel the same way. Now, when it comes to this woman, though, I ain't gonna lie, Venkat, she is doing the most. But she got the 15 minutes of fame and she gonna run with it. That's politics for you. When you get the limelight and it works in your favor, of course you're gonna run with it. We've seen it with Marjorie Taylor Greene. We've seen it with countless other megamaniacs where they're like, ooh, I finally got the spotlight, so I'm just gonna take the narrative and run because I get the masses behind me. That's literally what she's doing. So, do I fault her to bask in that 15 minutes of fame or whatever you want to call it? Absolutely not. Whatever works for you, whatever floats your boat, my dear, go for it. But it's gonna only elevate her up to whatever point she could go, because again, they're in the majority, so majority will rule in certain matters. When it comes to certain laws being passed, what we said back in November is whatever y'all voted for, you get. This is civics. This is checks and balances. We do have an opposition, but the Republicans have the majority here, and until we have the next midterms, then when you guys feel the need to speak your views and vote your points whatever way, you vote again to make the change that you want to change. But with that being stated, you get what you get for now, and you have to go with it. For those who didn't vote and sat back and watched idly, you don't get to complain now. For those who voted and got what they wanted, kudos to you. For those who didn't, hey, it's not the end of the world. We'll navigate through this. You'll be fine. But back to my position on this whole bathroom situation with the Transformers, it's a hell no for me. My stance is not going to change. If you are offended by this, you're upset, you could go kick rocks. I don't give a damn. I'm speaking from a position of a parent, a guardian, and a father. And I put my kids first in terms of their safety when it comes to like using any facilities or bathroom. That is not going to change. And if you have a problem with it, take it up with God. Next.
All right, thanks, Ricardo. Just want to make it clear what I'm saying here is so Nancy Mace, she's a troll. She's a person of no substance, and she's using a moment in time to exploit a situation, even when it's not appropriate. Case in point, you see the representative go up there and call her out because what they were deliberating on in Congress was something that had nothing to do with transgenders, bathrooms, anything sexual, or anything at all. It was something completely unrelated. And
it was the oversight committee.
Right. And out of nowhere, she's saying trans this, trans that. And you gotta see that for what it is. and that's the thing. It's like we make something out of nothing because we know that one little thing is the dog whistle for a lot of people in the country, whether they're Democrat or Republican. The one minuscule thing she knows that people could latch on to and agree with her, even if they don't agree with her in general. And that has to be called out at some level. So she got called out. And then she continued with her fake outrage by going, oh, I'm not a child. She knew exactly what she was saying. And she knew exactly how she was saying it. But again, if you want to do that scripted outrage stuff, you can buy into it all you want to. But I'm just letting you know it's there, and it's just ridiculous. All right, MD, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree with you. Nancy Mace was 100% disingenuous and what she was doing at that particular time. That's 100%. With that being said, Jerry Connolly shouldn't even like entertained it. I think that was a bad look as it pertains to him, based on the fact I didn't think that he was in a position to speak on it, first and foremost. Second of all, it wasn't the appropriate time to speak on it. Jerry Connolly is a ranking member on the oversight committee. You could have struck that. If that was me, I would have struck everything that you said and I would have moved on. So of course, it was in bad faith. Don't get it. They're not gonna do it because and this is where my issue lies with Democrats. They're not gonna do it because they want to try to use it as an expose. And there's a time and a place for everything. Notice Jasmine Crockett, all the stuff that she did, again, totally inappropriate for the time. I'm not questioning that. But even she didn't speak on the matter at hand as it pertains to rebutting Nancy Mace on that particular topic. Nor has she done it since. So my ultimate question would be, where is your position as it pertains to the bathroom issue? I haven't heard that from a Democrat. Have you, Venkat or Ricardo? Or am I tripping? I'm just misinformed.
No, they're not speaking on it.
They're not going
to. And there you go. And they're not going to do it. You're right, Ricardo. Because they know.
It's a fight.
Yeah, they know that first and foremost, they don't want to look in a certain light as it pertains to frivolous things within Congress. Correct. Also, they don't want to look in the bad light of the lefty loonies. So they know, and this is an ongoing issue with the Democrats. This is the problem. At this point, this is where I'm at with Democrats. If you're going to take a far left position, take it. If you're going to take a centrist position, take it. If you're going to take a center right position, take it. Just take a position. Where are you, Democrats? Is ultimately what I'm saying. This muddying the waters and being mysterious on the strategy in which it goes to challenging a lot of this MAGA stuff. Like this ain't gonna cut it. And this is a prime example of what we're talking about. You know, I was listening to Danielle Moody early. I don't know. She a progressive, but I was listening to her and she said something that was profound. She said to the, and you know, I consider myself a moderate. She said, if these quote unquote moderates continue to go to the left or to the right, there is no middle at that point. So I'm up to the point to where I don't care if it's a middle ground. Just take a position. That way, at the very least, I would know what the strategy is when it comes to MAGA and when it comes to the Democrats. We can't keep talking this frivolous stuff, man, because that's what it is. It's frivolous. And that's exactly what it is. Listen, if everybody came to a consensus in the Congress, chances are that congressman is not going to the women's bathroom anyway. You know, that's just a fact. I'm pretty sure that the Capitol has a unisex or a family bathroom. I'm pretty sure. It ain't no big deal.
Yep.
At the end of the day. It's just not. So, you know, that just goes to the point. Democrats have lost focus on what really matters, and they tie themselves to this frivolous stuff, being ambiguous to certain points, to not show favor toward one side or another. Why? This ain't the time for that. It's just not the time. So I agree with everything you said, Venkat. Like it's time for Democrats to take a position. And I'm not here to say that it should be a certain position. Just take one.
Do you think the Democrats are like, you know what? Probably the best thing for us to do is lay back, let what happens. When it happens and things get rough, people will see, rather than trying to go against the wave of stuff that's happening. Just let it be.
I don't think that's the best strategy, Venkat. I just don't. I just don't, because we live in an age of cult. We live in an age of cult mentality.
Yes,
that's just a fact.
But okay,
and everything shows you that.
But the thing that we've witnessed in these last few elections is just a matter of, well, we're going to just vote against the party that's in right now. That's really what's been happening in the last 3 cycles. We're just going to vote against the party that's in. That's it. Like I don't feel like my life is good. Just vote against the party that's in. So if that's the case, why try to do anything? Just let it crumble, let it fail, and then pick up the pieces at that point.
Again, if that's the strategy, that shows you how much you care about your constituency. That's just a fact.
No. I'm not saying it's a right or wrong thing.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely wrong. It's definitely wrong because again, if we're looking at it from the total electorate,
yeah,
we know that the majority of the people are not for Trump. We know that. Us, me, you, Ricardo. We know that. But from a I guess you would say a perception standpoint, it looks as though the popularity is going toward Trump. I would argue that it's not necessarily that. It's a combination of cultism and at this point, downright nihilism. At this point. So what are you doing for the nihilist? What are you doing for a person like Mike? You know what I'm saying? Right. That where all is lost and there's no hope. Hell in the handbasket. It is what it is. That's what I'm saying. And I think Democrats don't look at it that way. They look at it much like what you just described. And that's a problem.
Okay. I see what you're saying, MD. I see what you're saying. All right. So we got lame duck session to go into, but I just got one more 3-minute video on the last subject matter on the politics of sex 2. On this particular one, this was back in 2020. So I'll just say that. Let's take a look at this video.
More details are emerging about a conservative Hungarian politician who was caught by police trying to flee a gay sex party in Brussels by clambering down a gutter. A sex party that was illegal and busted because it broke coronavirus lockdown rules. Josef Schayer was Prime Minister Viktor Orban's strongest voice in the European Union's parliament. Schayer has now resigned from the ruling party in what's being called a huge embarrassment to Hungary's right-wing nationalist government. Reuters met the party's organizer, David Manzelli.
It's nothing unusual. We have the Christmas coming. People basically are thirsty for meetings. And it's absolutely normal that guys, especially in the gay community, going to be searching for the solutions to meet.
Hungary's ruling party campaigns against the LGBT community, espousing what it calls traditional Christian values, and Malzeni says he's never seen Schayer at one of his parties before. Schayer has also denied taking ecstasy pills at the party. The police report doesn't specifically name the politician, but lists a man of the same age with his initials as being detained with narcotics in a backpack.
An anti-gay Hungarian politician has resigned after being caught by the police fleeing a 25-man orgy through a window. An ally of Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban resigned from the European Parliament after attending what was described as a 25-man orgy in Brussels. Josef Schayer quit as an MEP on Sunday and later said he was present at a private party. The police found Schayer and 24 other naked men at the gathering, including diplomats, local reports said. Schayer played a key role in the Orban government's crackdown on LGBTQ rights in Hungary. There's so much to say about this. First of all, the nerve of attending a 25-person orgy during a pandemic. I mean, that's like next level irresponsible. 25-person orgy during a deadly pandemic? God damn, these must be some horny dudes. I mean, you got to be as horny as possible to do one of those things, right? I mean, what the hell? But listen, I mean, keep it real. This is a recurring story that we've seen time and time again, where you have like the most vitriolic, vehement, anti-gay politicians. As a general rule, if they seem like over-invested in that, it's because they're struggling with those feelings. Usually it's paired with a sort of like hardcore religious upbringing where you're taught that that's morally wrong and you internalize it. So you're taught it's morally wrong, you internalize it, and then the process is you actually get angry and resentful and almost jealous that there are gay people who are comfortable with being gay and who live that life openly, proudly. You see that and there's a level of resentment because in your mind you think like that could be me and I want to do that, but it's morally wrong, so I'm over here fighting off my urges nonstop and it's tough and that makes me angry and resentful. And so that manifests as like being vehemently anti-gay and talking about it and pointing it out and, you know, see, these guys tend to think technically it's a choice and I'm choosing to do the thing that I don't want to do, which is not engage in that stuff, and that makes me angry.
All right, so there we go.
So hold on, wait a minute, Venkat. Hold on. I gotta stop you. I gotta stop you. So you mean to tell me that the hell with the ecstasy, the hell with the cocaine, they break it up because of the COVID lockdown requirement. Are you kidding me right now? So it's saying, hey, look, if you want to do the reach around, you got to have 6 feet social distance with the reach around. You can't do the human centipede. Can't do that. You got to have 6 feet separation on the reach around. That's insane.
Oh yeah. But it's just funny. Here's another gay politician that actually passed legislation to set back the gay community, and on his off time, he's doing a 25-man orgy. Now, earlier in the night, Murr had a 5 men strong on his avatar. I just hope those 5 men weren't a part of the 25. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So, MD, what's your thoughts on this story here?
Hey, I don't know what to say, man. I make sure you got on your what is it called, the N75, N95 mask. make sure you got that on, man. Ain't no rim job with that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how that would. Hey, man, this is crazy. But hey, the Progressive was correct. Kyle Kalinske was spot on. If you see a politician that is overly aggressive when it comes to anti-LGBTQ stuff, chances are you got one. You know what I'm saying?
So that would be
chance,
right?
Say what?
That would be Nancy Mace. That would be Nancy Mace, wouldn't it? Because she seems to be
Nancy Mace might be struggling with I don't know. Maybe she feel as though transgenders got a one up on her on the beauty level. I don't know. I don't know what the situation is. Again, when it comes to certain things that I feel that violate other people's rights, I'm with you. I.e. the stuff with the bathroom. If a transgender person is going to the bathroom, I don't give a damn about moral ambiguity or not. I don't care about none of that. What I'm saying is this thing that you're trying to do violating the rights of somebody else? Right. That's how I look at stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I'm triggered, right? So in that aspect, it is what it is. You're gay, you're gay. It's not for me to dictate what you do.
Mm-hmm.
But when you make it a mission of yours, right, to go against these certain parameters that are individualistic per se, when it comes to your lifestyle, how you socially mingle, whatever the situation may be, and you're fighting against that, we got to look at you with the side eye. That's just what it is. Because first and foremost, you're not coveting individual freedoms, and we're talking about Hungary at the end of the day. We're talking about a dictator. So, it is what it is. Maybe you should get out of Hungary if that's what it is. Was this person doing the bidding of Viktor Orban, or was he doing it just to not necessarily save face, but be in the good graces? You know what I'm saying? So, it is what it is. You got a sweet tooth, you got a sweet tooth, man. Accept who you are as a person. That's all it is.
Ricardo, what's your viewpoint on this particular story?
Listen, whatever float and we always, because we have the same issue here with a lot of these, faux, like MD would say, these faux progressive or full legislative people that are like be so I'm hard pressed and blah blah blah, but behind closed doors they're doing whatever you do in your downtime, your free time, whatever. It's given. What's that dude that was running for governor here? Andrew Gillum. What was his name?
Yeah, Gillum. Yeah.
Yeah, that dude that everybody was like, yo, yeah, he he's so and so, and I'm like, but it's given too much of that. Like, this dude, whatever this guy is, and Hungary is not just the only place that this is happening to. There's Poland. If you think America is turning into what it is. The best template to see of what America is heading in towards is Poland. Poland, Russia, all of them have the same exact thing. But it's amazing how this guy, during COVID, found the time to like break not only the rules that were put in place to ensure public safety, but you found time to engage in a 25-man gangbang orgy session. How you find time to do that without putting on your mask and all of that stuff? That clearly goes to show that you didn't give two hoots about your safety, but you were too busy trying to get, busted on. God forbid, COVID goes through the fountain of spew, and you just going on and on, like it's reckless behavior, But what do you expect from politicians who pass legislation but don't abide by their own rules? It's nothing new. It's given a lot of vibes that we always know about politicians in general, that they will pass these hard press, legislative things, and then they go, oh, I don't have to follow that rule. I'm the one that passed it to begin with. No, what affects me affects you too. You don't get to sit on the sidelines and go, no, this is not, I don't get to. This is the BS that we always talk about. When you have to hold a lot of these people to the fire when it comes to like you trying to pass rules and all of that. When you're so hard pressed and getting certain things done, and you struggle with a moral conviction or whatever, I would rather you say, listen, I'm going to sit this one out or blah, blah, blah. But you just decide to do an Andrew Gillum and then decide, oh my God, I got caught. But I think I was drunk. I didn't know what I was doing, but I'm going to run down the chute and hide. BS. You can't get away with all of that. You know what I'm saying? But if that's what floats his boat during COVID, he wanted to, be spewed on in the fountain of spew of 25, man, whatever floats your boat. But don't do that on the time of, people's, what's the word I'm looking for here, MD? The people's consciousness. Like, don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's BS. And it's so he had all right to resign because you know what was going to come next. And when you were part of the European Union at that, behind the prime minister, so you were probably lieutenant or something. Man, grow balls, and if you want to be in a porno, by all means go ahead and do that, sir. But not on people's hard earning cash and press. You know what I mean? Like, grow some balls, and that's all I got to say. Just disgraceful.
Man, they got COVID. Regular COVID, Omicron, COVID version 2. They got all that now.
That's a pretty bold thing to do in 2020. My God. So caution to the wind has never been more windy. Oh, Lord. Okay, so we're about to go into session now. Lame duck session. We'll be back on the other end for lame duck number 70.
First things first, in this lame duck session.
For the United Nations General Assembly to share the extraordinary progress we've made. In less than 2 years, my administration has accomplished more than almost any administration in the history of our country. America's so true. Didn't expect that reaction, but that's okay.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
You're trying your best, but it never feels like enough.
I started having second thoughts almost the moment I sat down on the plane.
Lights off! Off! Turn them off. They're too bright. Turn them off. Turn them off. Let's go. Ready?
We go back a long way. She was 12, I was 30, but anyway.
So I changed my return flight and flew back on the first available flight I could take.
I'm sick and tired of smart guys.
I'm sick and tired of ordinary people being fleeced.
I'm tired of being quiet.
I'm sick and tired. I'm just sick and tired. We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
great power comes great responsibility.
These lights are so bright in my eyes that I can't see too many people out there. But I can only see the black ones. I can't see any white ones. You see? That's how far I've come. That's how far I've come. That's a long way, isn't it? These eyes. You want to see a bird graveyard? You just go. Take a look. A bird graveyard? Go under a windmill someday. You'll see more birds than you've ever seen ever in your life.
You got to be on crack to think that. So, and I know a lot of people are stuck on old crack. Stop the Madness says, Charlemagne is spot on. I have dropped the demonization and started listening more. Suddenly, not every Trump voter has horns and praises Hitler. Oh, guys, I'm on a warpath, man, and you see that warpath. I went on Tim Pool's show. I went on Patrick Bet-David. I went on Modern Wisdom podcast. Anna just went on The Blaze, and we're going to do so much more. Because now that we're talking to actual right-wing populists, it is not the old Republican base. It definitely isn't. This whole idea that everyone who voted for Trump in this election is racist or sexist, and that's the only reason they voted that way. You got to be on crack to think that. So, and I know a lot of people are stuck on old crack. I'm telling you that this is not that same base. It just isn't.
Gotta say, it's like it's not an understatement to say that I've lost sleep over what's been going on. That I've been really upset, angry, and like wounded, if that makes sense to you. You know, I feel like we are on the precipice of a really perilous time of true authoritarianism coming to the United States. And someone like you, who has been such a leader on the progressive left, has such a massive role to play in this moment as a stalwart of resistance, as so many of these centrists are kowtowing to the right. And then I see you on the same stages with, and in the same rooms with, the right-wingers who are mouthpieces of said authoritarianism. And I don't believe that you are actually pushing back instead. And I think there's a project here. You're trying to find points of agreement. So what are you doing, and why are you doing what you're doing? I personally feel implicated by a strategy that I do disagree with. And or do you think, well, I'm doing the right thing, so everything I do should reflect beautifully on everyone who works at TYT?
See, this is a way of getting me, like, saying, Cenk, you're out of bounds. So you're implicating me in a strategy I don't agree with. Well, but what am I supposed to do? Not do the strategy I believe in because it might implicate people on the network?
I think I'm asking for empathy. I'm just asking for empathy, Cenk. It's just being a little empathetic.
No, I don't think that's about empathy. I think what you guys are asking for, and this is why I'm not on the far left, is you're saying, since we don't agree with your strategy and your strategy implicates us, you really, if you were empathetic and a good person, you wouldn't do your strategy.
Authoritarianism and fascism. And one of the things that has come to mind when you say, my strategy will protect us, is he has this chapter, I'm going to bring it up, the first part of it, called Do Not Obey in Advance. And he writes, most of the power of authoritarianism is freely given. In times like these, individuals think ahead about what a more repressive government will want, and then offer themselves without being asked. A citizen who adapts in this way is teaching power what it can do. In other words, you don't have to do the sort of crackdown on the left around speech because I'm going to do it for you. Or you don't have to come to me. But I'm not cracking
down. Again, you're misstating it. I'm doing the exact opposite. You're cracking down by saying, Cenk, you're out of bounds.
I feel like there's a real misunderstanding of power in your mind. And I don't know why.
I think you're hiding behind this power dynamic.
No. I'm being totally honest. I am a contributor to TYT that I go on every time you guys ask. You're one of like a stalwart in broader progressive left of center media discussions. Like what you do is far more impactful than what I do. I'm just being honest with you. Like, you have a huge footprint. You have
it's a good thing I have the right strategy.
And when you go on shows, and you go on stages, again with Charlie Kirk, it looks like an apology tour. It basically makes it seem like it cheapens everything that we've done and we've built. That's why I can't sleep at night. That's why I feel sick when I see you on these shows. Like, I'm just being, I guess I'm nuts. I guess I'm totally crazy and I should just trust you and say, yes, you're doing the right thing.
The doubt, but you're doing it here.
No, I'm not. So now, on the other hand, I might agree more with Elon Musk on H-1B, but you can't just do binary brain and go, me hate all MAGA. Well, which ones? Because they now massively disagree.
But the through line between both of them is that all of the glue that holds both factions, the Bannon faction and the Elon together, is that they have an allegiance to Donald Trump. That is the only, again, that's the only long-standing principle between all of these people.
That's not remotely true. You're both in bubbles. Please, for God's sake, think objectively. And this is the number one request that I would have of people on our side, which is focus on policy. Don't get into this cult of personality. Oh, that's a Democratic leader. Or cult of personality. That's Trump. We have to oppose everything Trump is doing. No, wait a minute. What is the policy? And if they say something that we agree with, for God's sake, take yes for an answer. In the middle of Trump, imagine...
This is actually sort of problematic, as Cenk Uygur is putting it. The rhetoric that he's using is saying, let's focus on policy. Trump may have, just because it's Trump, let's not discount the policies on what he's doing. But we can see that he is undoing a lot of stuff. He is undoing a lot of things and setting up the conservatives to run in the same way that we had Reagan.
The Bannon people are not going to abandon Donald Trump by virtue of any policy position that he has, in the same way that the Elon people are not going to abandon him either.
Bannon said that Trump's position on H-1B was wrong. So you're totally counterfactual. So look, guys,
and not a single person will abandon him by virtue of it.
Look, the reason I became a Democrat is because in California, if you're an independent, you can't vote in Democratic primaries. And so I wanted to vote for Bernie Sanders, et cetera. So on policy, I'm totally left wing. But when you talk about culturally, there's a couple of issues that are going on. Number one, I've always been when I was a kid, I was a Hulkamaniac, right? Yeah, and so, this America, okay, we disagree. We got freedom of speech. Let's rumble. Let's brawl. There's nothing wrong with that. I speak both languages. I speak populist and establishment. I speak right wing and left wing. I can understand and I could translate for folks, right? So why did Trump win? Why was he popular? Because he's at least trying to appear to be a populist. Whether he actually is a good question and is going to be settled by the next 4 years, right? But I'll give you the example I always give. This random guy, Nick Smith, doing a strike at a Waffle House in Western Virginia, and we go interview him in the 2016 election. And he says, look, all my family's coal miners, right? And our reporter asks, why are you guys voting for Trump, right? And he says, look, Hillary Clinton comes here and tells us we're going to lose our jobs and there's no hope. Trump at least has the decency to lie to us. Okay, and he says we got hope, the future is bright, etc. Right, and that makes a huge difference.
Yeah. A few moments later,
absolutely insane. Trump just did a press conference with Benjamin Netanyahu, and he said that we will take over Gaza, America will, and that we will clean it out for Israel, and that we will clear out all the unexploded bombs. So we paid for bombs that killed innocent Palestinians, and now we have to go and clean them out with our soldiers, U.S. citizens, so that the precious, precious, precious Israelis don't die for their own war. Americans die for their war. And then he says we're going to move all of the Palestinians out of Gaza. That's 2.2 million people. And what I said on the Young Turks was, because they have a deal. And the deal is Trump is going to be worse than Biden on this, and he's going to let them annex territory, and he's going to make us pay for it. So the disaster of Donald Trump serving Israel has begun. And if you're a right-winger or you're MAGA or you just voted for Trump, know that you just got played. This is not America first. This is Israel first. And so from here on out, you know, America would be super lucky to come in second, but I guess we're going to die for Israel worse than Biden and pay for all their war crimes and their ethnic cleansing. Absolutely disgusting. What happened? Trump was supposed to be a tough guy. He's holding Netanyahu's chair for him. Before he talked to him, they said, what's going to be your policy? He said, I'm going to talk to Netanyahu and I will listen to him. Well, that's the first time he told something true about Israel and Gaza and what he's actually going to do. This is horrible, and we all have to unite against it.
Yeah. Yeah. There he is. There he goes. Put the spotlight up for this generical, steaming hot pile piece of trash. The number 70 lame duck of the week, Cenk Uygur. Oh my God. MD, what do you got for the number 70 variety of this steaming pile of human turd?
So glad you did this. I'm so glad. This will be compounded with next week's downfall premiering on TFP. Listen, I'm the PPAM, the political prophet amongst men, so I speak in parables, right? If a stick is in a lake, it'll float endlessly, going no direction. But if that same stick was in the river, it'll flow and pick up other sticks along the way. That's populism compared to the lefty loony strategy or the quote unquote progressive strategy. Cenk Uygur is doing what he's supposed to do. There may be negatives, there may be positives, but he's doing, as a populist, he's doing what he's supposed to do. That's just a fact. Everything will be revealed next week on the downfall. Populism is the flowing river. Populism doesn't adhere to one set of ideals. It just don't. And so from that aspect, Cenk Uygur is doing exactly what he's supposed to do. Progressives like Francesca Fiorentini is doing what she's supposed to do as a quote unquote progressive. She's playing identity politics. Her ideals are set in stone, and she doesn't see the vision of a populist. A populist doesn't flow left or right. They flow with popular opinion. That's why it's called populism. Now, that don't mean that you won't have a certain set of ideals, because obviously Cenk Uygur does, as it pertains to Israel and Gaza. But that's not going to take away from, as he said in the segment, the policies that are quote unquote popular to the masses of America. So this was apropos. I think you got it wrong with Cenk Uygur. Hell, I've been saying he was a crackpot since I've known of him from TYT, but no one listened to me. They said I was crazy. But now all of a sudden, everybody's up in arms about the particular stances of Cenk and Anna. Well, hell, I've been saying that all along. Why? Because I'm the political prophet amongst men. That's just a fact. And I know how these different ideologies work. So when you see the layout as it pertains to these political stances, then you'll know how certain people will go. You'll see the flow of the river. If you're looking at a progressive standpoint, you'll see the lake. And that's just a fact. I hope that I can give some people some insight on what these different ideologies do and what they mean and the history behind them. So I have no issue with what Cenk Uygur said. I don't. Because I know his stance from the beginning. What did they say in the scriptures? I know ye before you were born. That's just a fact.
Well, I got major problems with Jink. I just think that kind of like some of the stuff alluded to. I think he's putting a lot of false hope, and he's imposing certain ideas that for some reason he believes that this MAGA is different than the 2017 MAGA, and things have changed and all this other nonsense. There's no damn change. There's people out here that are more interested in trolling and more interested in being contrarian, more interested in just hurting people for no reason. And I think putting the farm on that type of people, you're just going to get nothing but bad result. And then at the end, he's panicking with what Donald Trump said, and he's like, "Oh, we got to work together." Nah, nigga, we don't got to do nothing.
And so let me ask you a question, Venkat. Let me ask you a question. First of all, I agree with what you said, because if you know the history of populism leads to authoritarianism. because people are looking for a king. Do you think MAGA maniacs? And I'm gonna talk about this. Do you think MAGA maniacs honestly would rather see Trump as a king rather than a president, or that's how they view them?
Of course, they don't want to deal with Congress.
Hey, there you go.
And all that. They don't want to deal with it.
There you go. Like I said, when the Rubicon was crossed, the people rejoiced. So we saw how that played out. Well, we didn't see because we weren't born, but we see the history.
And let the record show here that a populace. Well, first of all, Trump is generally a fake populist, but a populist. That means you have to have of popular ideas. None of those ideas he has is popular. A lot of people ain't even the stuff that he's talking about, the stuff that he does for the most part is not popular.
So are lower grocery prices popular?
Yeah, but is he doing that? Is that his plan?
I didn't say if he was doing it or not.
I'm just saying.
I didn't say that.
So
again,
he hangs that fruit out there.
Yeah, of course.
Just say you could tell from an administration what their true intentions are by the first 100 days. And in his first 2 to 3 weeks, he let everybody know what he was focused on. And not one of those focuses was on bringing down grocery prices, was on making sure we got jobs and better opportunities. None of that was ever a focus at all. So
and it's still not a focus.
No, it's not.
But populism doesn't work under the auspices of like stuff getting done. It works on perception, and that perception can become quickly under populism reality, whether it's true or not. And that's the problem with populism.
Well, I like reality, and we're about to have a hell of a reality come soon. It's coming. Believe you me, it's coming. All right, so we got Ricardo. Ricardo, what do you think about the trash bag human of the week, number 70, Cenk Uygur?
Yeah, Uygur, he's very polarizing. I'm not surprised by the 160-degree turn that he's doing now. I guess this is everybody's way of trying to ask kiss the ring of Trump. But it's a little bit on the disappointing side of things. With that being stated, he's a part of the progressive movement. What's the other talk show host, the husband and wife, Joe and something, did the same thing. They did the whole full 160 turn too as well. So it's not surprising.
Mika and Joe?
Yes.
Yeah, Mika and Joe.
they've also done the same thing. So quite a few people. I don't know if the freedom of the press doesn't stand for something anymore, but it looks like a lot of people in the press now are, you know, having issues where they're like, I guess if you can't win them, you join them kind of thing mentality. I just, you know, and I echo the sentiments of that woman in the video. It's very concerning when this whole time you guys were on the, you know, the, not us, but you know them, when the Turks and the TYT crew and all of them were on the opposition portion of things, side of things, and now it's like, oh, but we can't beat all the megamaniacs, so you know I might as well join the last 10%. Like, no, your resistance is imperative. That's how you know, if you have, what's his name from CNN that, you know, decided to quit CNN, you know, last week we were talking about him. It's like, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And I think it's dangerous, just to see him just say, oh, but you know, you guys wanted me to be one dimensional and now I'm going to be two dimensional. And it's like coming up with excuses. Whatever floats his boat, I applaud him for, but for me, it's always been, you know, let's hear the facts of things and all of that, because now once you muddy the water, it becomes problematic. I don't know how he will see his way through, but he is very earning of the lame duck session here. I just don't see him coming back from this. I know MD wasn't really a fan of him from a while back. There's moments where he's been in the right trajectory of things, and then there's moments now looking at where he's heading with all of this. I don't know where TYT stands. I don't know what's that other female that's always on the show with him stand on this.
Experience.
It's weird. It's like, so now are you a megamaniac follower? Are you a fanatic to the whole cause? I don't know, but I see this, and like MD echoed the sentiment in the beginning of the show. Where is the opposition? Again, I'm so confused with this whole, oh, woe is me, and we're taking a beating. Now is not the time to sit back and be complacent. Now is the time to actually raise noise and raise hell. This is where the opposition comes into play, and this is where history you learn from. You stand up and you start being a resistance. You cannot just sit back and then go, oh, we couldn't beat them, so we're going to join them now. That doesn't help you, because in the end, you still fall victim to the nonsense. So I would rather you say, you know, I'm not standing with the foolishness. I've never been on his side. With all of this, like when it comes to all of this, it's nothing that Trump is doing is brand new. So I'm not sure where they're going with all of this. You know what I mean? Trump tried this whole tariff nonsense in 2018. Did it win him that much in terms of what he was trying to go for the last time? No. Within 2 months or 3 months, I believe, I think he had to change course because it wasn't working. It's the same exact nonsense this time. You think the price of steel you think you're gonna change China's stance as the largest steel producer in the world? Hell no. We literally, like, do you know how much money the United States owes China? Like, are you kidding me? Do you think being going against Canada for whatever reason, like what you're gonna see trickle down to us is the price of cars. Remember if I remember well, in 2018, because you remember we're very fickle, the price of cars went through the roof. So the big three or the big four automobile companies they went to Trump, I think literally a month after, was like, yo, we can't sustain this. Like, you literally have to do something about this, because then people are going to stop buying cars. And we all know how this country goes with cars. We all saw the automobile bailout the last time. And he literally he heeded the warning and he had to change course. The same thing again. The price of canned goods went up through the roof. We saw anything pertaining to metallics and all of that went through the roof. So this whole notion of them going, oh, but the megamaniacs and all that, it makes no sense to me. It doesn't make sense. I don't know if it makes sense to you, MD or Venkat, but majority rules, I guess, but don't come crawling back and try to get viewers to come back on TYT side, because that's not going to work. But we'll see, Venkat. Maybe you're gonna still try to get clips from them. Maybe we'll see. I don't know how that it just muddies the water for me from here on out. So I'm sorry. You are deserving of this, Uger. I'm gonna stop my nigga babbling, and yeah, just shameful, dude. Like, you make Trump look good this week. That's just bad. And I'm out.
Okay, thanks, Ricardo. I unsubscribed to TYT about 2 months ago.
I'm surprised.
Yeah. I couldn't take it no more, and I try to objectively look at it, but I couldn't.
But how bad has it gotten over there? Is the narrative all this megamania crap now, or is it just?
It's super cynical, especially from Anna Kasparian.
Oh wow!
And what I found out, I mean, there's little information on it, but so there's like two big things that prompted her to act this way now. One of them is she was essayed in California. Yeah. I think this happened about a year and a half ago, and she was upset with California and the city because it was like, I think it was like a homeless guy that grabbed her or something like that, and yeah, and so that happened. She just got super mad. Her whole mood and vibe just changed. And then the other thing that happened, she had a neighbor that she thought was a very nice guy. He helped her bring her groceries or some nonsense like that. Like he went out of his way to help her move some stuff. And then later on down the road, she found out, oh, this guy's a MAGA Trump supporter. And she's like, all Trump supporters aren't crazy and blah, blah, blah. And then that's when, like, that was another thing that catapulted her to starting to think that way and whatnot. And she didn't vote in the 2024 election. She didn't vote at all. She completely sat it out. I'm like, these people are full of crap, man. They're not really standing on anything.
Very wishy-washy.
Venkat, I think you missing a lot of points.
Go ahead.
TYT has been pushing anti-Democrat stuff for years. You know that, and I know that.
I got that. I agree with some of that stuff. That part I don't have a problem with the whole corruption of the high-empowered and Democrats and the way they did Bernie Sanders. All that is true.
Yep.
But there's this other side that is not right.
So again, back to my point. Populism is the focal point here. Now, you can say what you want about that. Look, I voted Republican in a lot of cycles, right? I didn't necessarily identify with it, but I identified with the policy. Cenk Uygur is doing something very similar. Only the difference is now is the flowing of how policies move and shape or transfer would be a better term amongst the different parties. Cenk Uygur's stance has not changed, folks. Now, Anna, I can agree with you, like through personal experience, whatnot, whatever the situation may be. To my knowledge, everything that I know about Cenk Uygur, his position has not changed one bit. Like, that's just a fact. But the issue is, how can we identify the factors of how he views policy as it pertains to the MAGA movement versus the Republican? The main focal point is that, and you just said it, corruption, quote unquote, anti-establishment. The MAGA maniacs would lead you to believe that that's the position of the Republican Party as it stands now. I would debunk every facet of it, but it's the perception. Again, the perception has turned into the reality. That's cultism 101. So again, that's my position.
I'm really bothered by also the fact that, if Kamala Harris would have won, there wouldn't have been no peeps to any of this stuff that we saw. And it's kind of a good thing that she did lose, because it's exposed a lot of two-facedness out here. And you see who really are down, who really are about what they're saying. and we're seeing all the opportunistic and shifty, shady shape changers that were really there. And they're gonna go right. Him and Anna. I mean, they're the same thing to me as far as, you know, when the climate changed, they changed. Just like these companies with the DEI, you know, in 2020 it was the thing, so we're gonna do that. Then now Trump is there. Oh, we're gonna switch out. Facebook had this whole, you know, situation where they were fact checking. Now they got rid of it because, you know, Trump has done over 30,000 lies in his first term. When he left office, over 30,000 lies that they've counted. And all of a sudden, it's a priority that Facebook gets rid of the fact checking thing, or, you know, just to accommodate Trump. Like everybody, the bending of the knee, the boot licking, that's the most egregious part. In the big picture, you're not gonna win everything. It's kind of like I see, like, all of a sudden, I never saw Philadelphia Eagles paraphernalia worn by anybody. And all of a sudden, I got so many Eagles hats and T-shirts just walking by me every other second. It's just, you're not always going to win. You know, it's like the Miami Heat fans when they were losing against the Spurs, and then they started leaving the arena. And then when that shot was made by Ray Allen, everybody started trying to come back in the arena. Like as Ricardo would say, fickle. You know, you got to be real about things. You're not going to win every time. So get over it. They lost. You move on. You don't do a riot on the Capitol. You just move on. And I just think that this was a punk ass way. I mean, a lot of these guys, you know, Morning Joe, Jank and them, all these guys, even some Democrat politicians changing their tunes on how they were saying things and what they were saying. It's weird. It's really weird. It's very embarrassing, really.
It's very desperate. That's what it is.
Yeah,
Desperation.
Like, are you serious? Like, come on. So that's the part I have a problem with. If you're gonna go down, you go down. That's it. But you don't have to do all this reinventing on the fly and bootlicking, especially these conservative people, because they weren't doing that. When they killed people. We keep forgetting. At least 5 people died on January 6th. They killed people. You know, so I just don't understand this whole notion. And that's a really disappointing thing, because if you think about it, Cenk Uygur represents the first YouTube partnership. He's over 20 years he's been on YouTube. He's the original YouTuber. You know, they did some historical things. And like, he's been a leader for the progressive movement, and he just folded off of a Donald Trump when Donald Trump won before. So what's the big deal? So yeah, that's why it's so disappointing for me. All right, so what we're gonna do now is wrap it on up, give everyone their final sign off. So let's start with MD. MD, what's your final sign off, sir? MD, mute.
Let me share two things if I can. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, let me share 2 things with you real quick. So I got a new bag. I'm starting back up. I'm ramping back up. So, you know, exclusive to TFP. The downfall will start next week. So let me share this real quick. Oh, he got that all up. Let me say first then, since you can put that back up. Let me say first and foremost, this coming up Thursday, MD Thoughtbox Live is back. And we doing the truth about birthright citizenship. I'm breaking it all down. I'm breaking down the dialogue that the senators and the congressmen had before the citizenship clause was codified into the 14th Amendment. I'm also breaking down the news. We're going to talk about Eric Adams. We're going to talk about these challenges, these court challenges with a lot of the Trump EOs. Hey, we ramping back up. I was hoping that the MAGA Maniacs was going to be over here because, again, the doors of the church are always open at MD Thoughtbox Live. This Thursday, 8:30. We cranking it. So be in the building for that. And of course, next week I'll be starting a new segment here on TFP, The Downfall. Let me share that video with y'all as well. I'm pulling it up now, Venkat. Pulling it up now. And yeah, man, I got time. So hey, we cranking it, man. We cranking it. Let me know when you get it. It's in the back now.
Hold on.
Oh, you ain't even at the computer.
No. I'm on the phone.
Oh, well, never mind. Can't share it then. Trevor will have to be here. No, that's all good. So yeah, next week, The Downfall on TFP. This Thursday, 8:30, MD's Thoughtbox Live will be back. The truth about birthright citizenship. And that I say peace.
Hold on 1 second. Where are you sending it to?
I was sharing it as a video file. You'll see it in the studio.
Okay.
I can put it back in there. I deleted it. I'll put it back.
Yeah, put it back in there. Okay. I see it.
All right.
Every generation, there is one who is raised up, one who is immune to the pressures of the collective, one who is given the true interpretation of law, one who has been given the vision of our political future, a political prophet amongst men. MD's Thoughtbox Live, in conjunction with Taped Fist Politics, presents The Downfall.
So yeah, with that I say peace.
Oh, that is straight fire. I love it. Oh my God. All right, Ricardo, final sign off, sir.
Yes, sir. Great show, all in all. The Politics of Sex, the second coming, was fantastic. I'm looking forward for the third coming. Politics of Sex. We're sure to bust on that one. Great show, all in all. Venkat, extraordinaire. We always look forward to TFP. We can't wait for MD's. He said the downfall this Thursday.
Yep.
8 p.m.
Oh, no, the downfall is next week on TFP, but he has a this Thursday on his channel. He has a show.
So you're gonna,
live. Right. Yeah, the truth about the birthright.
All right, so we look forward to that as well. He's going to be talking about a plethora of stuff, including the Canada issue and the tariffs and all of that. So we look forward to that. But yeah, great show. Look forward to more topics coming down the pipeline for TFP, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, I gotta thank Ricardo here because he's the one that came up with the concept and the idea of the politics of sex. When he first talked about it, Ricardo, I'm like, how am I going to do that? And then sent me that text in the group breaking down like what it could be. I'm like, oh my God, he just opened my eyes to all the possibilities, and it's great. So it's his brainchild, and I'm glad he came up with the idea because I think it's a great concept. We need to do it more regular.
Yes, sir. And Team Filthy always. So, yes, sir.
All right. I'd like to say thanks to everybody tonight for tuning in. Peace out to everyone that watched the show, commented in the comments. You got Bones, Mr. Straight Talk Trevor. We had the Deplorable King. That's Wayne. We had Wayne in the house. Great to see Wayne come by. Eddie Israel. Of course, we also had what's her name again? Shiesty Bum. Shiesty Bum, real active in the chat. So we appreciate that. Of course, Tequila as always. That's without saying. Peace out to Zay. Peace out to Nini. Peace to everybody. Peace to Princess Leia.
And Bones.
And yeah, I said Bones, yep. So for everyone here at the Straight Talk Society, we will see you on MD's channel this Thursday. And then tomorrow, we have WWR, Wrestling with Reality. And, oh, wait, hold on. No, we don't. No, wait, hold on. Maybe that's next week. I'm sorry about that. I think that's next week, the next Wednesday. So next week, Tuesday, we'll be back for TFP. So until then, everyone have a good night. And we'll leave you with an MD20 promo. MD20.
Peace. What's going on? What's happening? MD's Thought Box. What's going on, everybody? I hope everybody had a wonderful day. Wonderful day. I hope you was able to spend time with family and friends. I'm going to ask you the last question. Who are you?
What you mean, who am I?
To whom in which I'm speaking with right now.
You gonna turn around and tell that man.
Red alert. All hands stand.
Now you want to play victim. You know what you done.
I'm no victim. I ain't no victim
Warning.
at all.
Warning.
No, I know everything I said. I take.
I know you're not no
choice.
Warning. You're the battle detective.
No, you're not no victim because you done what you done. You used that man's channel to get at me.
System overload.
We gone.
That's what I'm talking about. That's why he's MVP. That's why he's the GOAT. The GOAT.
But to any event, peace. What's up? Can everybody hear me out there in YouTube land? Can everybody hear me? You know what I'm saying? Because we still gonna get it in. We still gonna get it in for today's topic. We definitely gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? Somebody give me a green light. You know what I'm saying? As you can see, I'm in the thought box. You know what I'm saying? Now I will say, as always, man, the doors of the church for MD's Thought Box Live is open.
MD20.
She just said a terrible thing. You know what she said? Shout it out, because I don't want to. Okay, you're not allowed to say, and I never expect to hear that from you again. She said, I never expect to hear that from you again. She said he's. That's terrible. Terrible.